All right, we are live, but the intro screen. Baddog, you ready to talk some New York baseball? No, man. Yeah, man, I'm excited to start this show. Of course, we'll probably get into silly stuff at the end, because this will be a long stream. But I love baseball. We've been talking about doing this show for months, doing an all New York baseball show. And what better time to do it than Friday night, since we don't normally talk sports then. So we figured we'd debut it tonight. I figured we could start out with why we fell in love with the teams we did, why we fell in love with the sport of baseball, and then working our teams today, and stuff like that. But just want to say, oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. All right, well, you know what? We're gonna have to do the intro all over again. Oh God, why does it do that? Yep. Now I see it. Now they're gonna be able to hear you. Now
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now they can. Now I can see it on the microphone.
Can you hear me now? He muted me because I'm a Yankee fan. Right? Let me try this again. Ready? Stand up, New York baseball fans. As I tried to say, we are excited to be here to do this show. He did that on purpose.
I do it all the time on purpose.
He muted a Yankee fan. He said, "No, I don't like the jersey you're wearing tonight. We're gonna mute your microphone."
What's going on, Procaccini? What's going on, Sports Extreme, diehard Giants fan, Scott Thomas, Procaccini, Andrew K. Thank you guys to everybody for tuning in. Need all the baseball fans in the chat to stand up. So I know we got a lot of Yankee fans in here. Of course, Baddog does a lot of Yankee content. But hopefully some Met fans came along. But yeah, as I was telling Baddog, I figured we'll start off with why we fell in love with the sport, what we love about baseball, what we love about the teams we root for, some of our favorite moments, and then start to break into so far how the season's played out for both of our teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mets fans in here. You got a good representation, but I also think it'll be fun. Obviously as the year progresses and we have more to talk about, it'll be great. And obviously we'll get more and more people in here, and the Yankees and Mets fans can go back and forth in the chat. I think it'll be fun. A good little friendly rivalry. I mean, we're not rivals. We play in the same city,
right?
But we're different leagues. We play 4 to 6 times a year. I don't even remember what it is now.
I think it's 4 now. They play 2
It's 4. Used to be 6. But obviously, our dream, hopefully, is that we meet in the World Series again. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it's a good idea to start. I'll let you start since you are on my channel tonight. I'm excited to have my man on the channel for the debut show.
Yeah.
So exactly. What do you love about the Mets, man? How'd you become a Mets fan? And let's hear the story.
Yeah, real quick. I saw Joe Musa ask what we thought about the Jets uniforms. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Joe. I think they're horrendous, and I don't hate the Jets. I think they look like college uniforms. I really do. But did you see them?
I was indifferent.
Yeah,
I didn't mind. My brother-in-law loves the Jets uniforms.
Really, I am not a fan. I am not a fan of them. Joe Lutz, what's going on, my man? But anyway. Let's talk some baseball. Why I fell in love with the sport a bit. I mean, I grew up. The thing with baseball is, I feel like you appreciate it a lot more. I don't know if you played baseball when you were growing up. You appreciate it a lot more if you played the sport. Like, if somebody didn't play the sport, I completely understand people that find it to be boring. Because when you played it before, you put yourself in the mind of the pitcher, the mind of the hitter, what he's going to be throwing. It's a thinking game. It's almost like chess in a way. And I grew up playing it since I was 4 years old. I was a very good baseball player. I actually pitched against Prince Fielder when I was 13. And I became a diehard Met fan probably around the age of 11. And 10 or 11. And I went to several Met games as a child when I was 5, 6 years old. I actually remember it wasn't my first game, but the first game I remember was like 92. I remember watching Eddie Murray and Bobby Bonilla, that team. The first game where I really fell in love with the Mets, ironically enough, was a Met-Yankee Subway Series game that I went to. And Matt, you remember it. It's a famous game for Met fans at Shea Stadium, and Matt Franco had the walk-off pinch hit single against Mariano in the bottom of the ninth.
Yep.
Great game. And the Yankees hit 6 home runs in that game. 5 or 6, I can't remember. And the Mets ended up winning 9-8. And I think Mariano had not blown a save for over a full year at that point. And Matt Franco, the best pinch hitter on the team at that point, I think it was 98, it might have been 99, had the walk-off single against the Yankees. And ever since then, I mean, there was probably a 6-7 year stretch where I watched literally, if I didn't watch every game, I watched damn near close to every game from like 13 to like 20, like every single game. And then obviously work gets in the way and stuff like that. But yeah, I love my Mets. I'm a huge Met fan. And obviously I've gone through the ups and downs, and more downs than ups. The thing with the Mets is they'll give you, usually they give you 2 or 3 really good years in a row, and then they'll be bad for 8-9 years. They're not like the Yankees where it's the reverse, actually. They'll give you like 2 bad years, and then they'll give you 8 or 9 really good years, except for when you were growing up as a kid. But in more recent history, it's rare where the Yankees have more than 1 or 2 bad years in a row. So the Mets are kind of the opposite, where they put everything together for like a 2 or 3 year stretch like they did in 06, 07, 08. They, of course, had heartbreaking endings to those seasons, but those were good teams. The 15 and 16 teams both made the playoffs. 99, 2000, 98, they were competitive teams. But it's usually like 2 or 3 years, and then they rebuild for like 6. And that's really what the Mets have been. And I hope with this new regime they could build more consistency. But, yeah, I mean, and of course we'll get into more stories. But, that, that's why I became a Met fan, and that's how I started.
Yeah, I completely agree about playing the game. I played for a long time. I started when I was 5, played T-ball, and I played right up to the time I was 17, till I didn't have the bat speed to get around on an 82-mile-an-hour fastball. I kind of knew that was the end of my baseball career. But for me, man, it's funny. My father used to take me to a lot of Yankee games, and we started going in 1984 when I was 8 years old. And I swear every time we went, they played the Orioles. I don't know why, but they played. It seemed like they played the Orioles every time. But my grandfather was a big Yankee fan. My father was a Yankee fan. And just going to the games, to walk through the tunnel, to see the green grass, to smell the hot dogs and the peanuts, and just the ambiance of a baseball game, there's nothing like it. There really is nothing like that. The colors, the sounds, the smells of a baseball game. And just being in the stadium, man, I think I really, really attracted me to it. And 1984, Don Mattingly won the batting title, so of course Mattingly was my favorite guy. And then in 1985, I really, really got into it, where I swear I watched every game, even though I had a bedtime. So I had to go to bed at like 9:30, and I didn't get to finish the whole game. And I can remember one game in 85. The Yankees were down. I think they were down 6-0. They were down 8-0 against the Twins, and I went to sleep. And I'd drawn a picture in 3rd grade of Don Mattingly hitting a home run that morning.
Right.
And they were down 8-0. They scored a run in the 6th. They scored 5 in the 7th. And Mattingly hit a walk-off 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th. They won 9-8. So I always kind of remembered that. And as my love grew for the Yankees, it's just crazy. 86, I went to a crazy game. I'll never forget it. It was my father's birthday, June 8th, 1986. It was bat day.
Yeah.
And, I had the best seats I ever had. Because back in the 80s, you could walk right up to the window and you could buy tickets. Right? It wasn't like that.
Even 2000. I mean, now everyone gets them on the StubHub. But even the late 90s, early 2000s, you could.
So we always sat up in the upper deck, over the bleachers. We didn't have really good seats today. And I remember I went with my father and one of his friends, and there was a guy there. His name was Willie. I never forgot him. He had 3 extra tickets. He was there by himself. He said, where are your seats? And my dad said, wherever they were. And the guy said, listen, he goes, I got tickets right behind the Orioles dugout. He's like, give me $20 a piece, and let the kid have a good seat. Right behind the dugout. I mean, I was, like, face-to-face with Cal Ripken. And I loved Cal Ripken. I mean, he was one of my favorite players growing up, and I was so cool to me. The game itself, man, the Yankees were down 7-1. It was a big rain delay. Scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th. And I can remember, Mike Pagliarulo came up, and I told my dad, I go, Dad, Pags is going to hit a homer. And sure enough, sure as shit, he hit one into the short porch in right field. And they cut it to 7-6. And then in the top of the 7th, Doug Drabeck came in and probably gave up 7 runs in like a third of an inning. At the time, it was the longest 9-inning game in the history of baseball. They lost 18-9.
Wow.
They had the Yankees were good, really good in 85. They won 97 games, but the Blue Jays won 99. 86, they kind of had an off season. 87, they were in first place late into the season. 88, they started to fall off, and they were really bad in the late 80s and early 90s. And I can remember thinking to myself, my father saw a dynasty in the 70s. He had his guys. He had his Willie Randolphs, his Guidrys, his Gooses, his Thurman Munsons, his Reggies. My grandfather saw a ton of them. He saw the 30s Yankees, the 50s Yankees, the 60s Yankees. And as they got better, I remember 94 being really upset because of the strike.
Right.
And because I'm like, I'm
that was the year, if I'm not mistaken, the Expos had a shot that year.
They had the best record in baseball.
Yeah, they had the
best record in the AL. And I remember being really upset because I was like, I thought I was going to see them in the playoffs because I'd never seen them in the playoffs even. There's no wild card back then. So they brought it up in 95 to try to get baseball back. And, of course, they made the wild card round that year, and they lost in heartbreaking fashion. That series was so amazing, and it was just absolute heartbreak. I mean, I cried. I never cried over a loss in my life. I cried after, after
that Mariners team. Now I'm thinking about it as you're talking. A-Rod was on that team, right? That was his rookie year?
He was a young guy. So he wasn't really a starter.
So you had A-Rod, you had Griffey, Cora, I think, was the second baseman. You had, obviously, Tino, Edgar, Jay Buhner.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, that team was just loaded.
Loaded.
Now, obviously, Randy Johnson. Yeah, that team could have won a World Series, that Mariners.
It was really, it was heartbreaking. And then, so, I grew up with the bad teams, and they got really close. And then 96, obviously, they won the whole thing, which is my favorite. If any of you guys watched my top 10 favorite New York sports moments, that is my favorite moment because I finally got to see the team that I love the most win a championship. Because when I started watching the Giants in 84, they won 2 years later.
Right.
I didn't have to suffer through the bad years of the Giants. They were good when I started rooting for them. The Yankees were good but never made it, and then they got really bad, and then they became really good and obviously had a dynasty. So I could tell my son about, the Tinos, the Paul O'Neills, the Scott Brocias, the Mariano Riveras, the Jeters, the Pettits, the Posadas, the Bernies. I mean, I have my guys now.
Right.
So it was obviously that was a really good time for the Yankees, and we've had good years, but we've won one championship in 18 years, and the Mets have been in the World Series, more recently than the Yankees.
The Mets have been to 5 World Series over their existence. They've only won 2, but they've been to 5. A lot of people think they're a horrible franchise. They're not as bad as people make them out to be. I think it's because they share a city with the Yankees, and they're not the most consistent team in the world, like I said, but they've had some success. But since I've been watching the team, they've been to 15, 2000. Yeah, I wasn't obviously watching in 86, so and 06, that 06 team broke my heart. That 06 team should have won the World Series that year. That was the best team the Mets have had since I've been watching. I mean, that lineup was stacked that year. Everyone had career years. Jose Reyes had one of the greatest years ever for a shortstop. Delgado was phenomenal. Beltran, LeDuc had a great year that year. That whole team was stacked. The problem they had was the pitching. Pedro broke down late in the year, and El Duque was actually on that team. He pitched well for the Mets that year.
The description, click on the Enterainah Talking Sports. Make sure you hit his big red button. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit my big red button. And do us both a favor, man. Hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the like button. It helps out the stream a lot. Just bang the like, guys. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Obviously, the 98 Yankees. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a better team. And that includes the 116-win Mariners in 01 that the Yankees ousted in the playoffs.
You beat them in 5 games, right?
Yeah, we dominated them. And the Yankees were the team that just mauls you. They are so inconsistent because, like when we beat the Orioles the other day, we hit 4 homers, and that's how we scored all 8 runs. 2 3-run homers and 2 solo homers. Back in the 90s when they were winning, it was get them on, get them over, get them in. It would be a 2-1 game in the bottom of the 6th. They would score a run here. They'd score a run in the 8th. There was 4-1. Mariano came in. Game was over.
I remember that. I remember watching that and thinking that back when they were at their best, like you said, like 96 to 2000. Well, 2000 they weren't great. They won the World Series, but they weren't as dominant. It was really like 96 to not. Even 98 was their only, like, in that stretch where it was, like, unreal. Like, they were great in the playoffs, but that was, like, the like you said, the 98 team
was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But you're absolutely right. Like, they didn't have those they called them the Bronx Bombers, but they weren't. They played small ball. They could hit home runs, but they didn't have molars, and then they started to develop into that. But they were at their best when they were playing smaller ball, I should say.
In 1998, Tino Martinez led the team with 28 homers. That tells you
he won the home run derby that year, right? I remember that. Or was that 97?
Yeah. 97, he hit 44 homers. He might have won it that year. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But in 98, he led the team with 28 homers. Bernie Williams won the batting title. They had 4 or 5 guys that hit over 300 and 3 or 4 guys that hit over 100 RBI. So they were a complete team from top to bottom. Brocious drove in 98 runs from the 9th spot that year. That's how ridiculous that team was. But it's just night and day, which is why I'm not an analytical person. I don't like the way baseball is played today because I go back and look at what won these championships for the Yankees, and you can mash your way to 95 wins in a regular season. But when you're going up, they met up with the Mets.
Right.
When we meet up with the Mets in a regular season, when we're facing DeGrom, when we're facing Syndergaard, DeGrom's not going to give up 4 home runs.
No, he's not. That's the problem, and I always say that when we talk Yankees. That's the problem you guys have is when you face dominant pitching come October, the way that your team is constructed, I don't think you guys can win. Now, maybe you can make some big obviously, the advantage you guys have is your bullpen. If you guys could get it through 6 innings with a lead, you guys usually are going to close down the door. That's the Yankees' strength. That's what, if you're going to make the playoffs, that's their suit. And in terms of the Mets, I think this team this year, the Mets, a lot of people forget. They made the playoff, obviously the World Series in 15. They made the playoffs in 16. Now, they went on a run in 16 to get that wild card. They were kind of mediocre all year, and they went on a run to sneak into the playoffs, get to the wild card. 17 and 18, obviously, big letdowns. A lot of injuries. Cespedes got hurt. A lot of injuries. Right. Obviously, letting Murphy go was retarded in 15. But this team, I'm not. It's way too early. We're 5-2. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Last year, we were 11-1. But I like that you brought up the analytics. I like that this team is kind of getting away from that. Like the way with Sandy Alderson, that's all it was. That's why they got rid of Murphy. That's why they got rid of players like that. Everything was analytically driven. Home run or strikeout guys, kind of like your Yankees. That's the type of lineup they had. This team now is starting to bring a little bit of, it's a different type of lineup. Like, they have some guys that could smash, but then they brought in, like, a Keon Broxton who's a nice base. McNeil's a nice player. He gets, he could extend base runners. He does some small things. They have a nice mixture in the lineup between power guys, contact guys. They got a little speed. They got some youth. They got some veterans. Of course, the rotation's their strength, and the bullpen is strong. Now, the bullpen so far this year has actually been very disappointing for me. They've won games, but they've given up 3-4 runs down the stretch of games, and they've made it a lot closer than it should be. So that's kind of alarming to me. But the back end of that bullpen for the Mets, I think, is a strength. And I think their lineup's better than people give it credit for. I think they have, for a National League team, I think they have a pretty good lineup. And the starting rotation, that's the key. And if they could ever get Dallas Keuchel, I mean, I'm reading rumors now that they're potentially interested in Dallas Keuchel. They're monitoring that situation. If they bring him in, you add him to this already, strong top 3 at the top, even though Thor hasn't been as dominant as he should be so far this year. But if you bring him in with those 3, I mean, that's a pretty damn good rotation.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Keuchel hasn't gotten an offer from somebody. And especially me, I'm sitting there saying the same thing. When Severino went down with a shoulder injury, I'm like, why the hell aren't we bringing Dallas Keuchel in here? Because the back end of our rotation is not very good. I mean, you get rid of Severino, so Tanaka's you started, and you got James Paxton, you got Jay Happ, okay. But then we're looking at Domingo Germán, who did pitch a great game against the Tigers and ended up losing. Actually, might have won that game. He might have been the one that won the game. And then I don't even know who your 5th starter is. I mean, they had an opener the other day. The Yankees don't do the opener thing, but it's like Luis Cessa. Sabathia is going to come back from injury. I mean, obviously, the big thing with the Yankees is the injuries. I mean, it is unbelievable the amount of injuries that this team has. Tulowitzki, obviously, the latest going down. That doesn't surprise anybody. To me, Aaron Hicks, the contract he got, I thought it was too many years. The guy's never healthy. Jacoby Ellsbury might as well just be MIA. That guy's not going to play. I mean, he's just ridiculous. You forget he's even on the team. What a terrible contract that was, by the way.
Right.
I mean, just in all, gave the guy $155 million for 7 years.
But that's the difference. And I want to say hello to the Sports Fair. I saw them popped in. Chuck Shart's in the show. What's going on, Jimmo, my man? There you go. Dilly to that, by the way.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Jimmo. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. He says the pro show. What a tag team. Great talk. What is going on?
Want to say hello to Bobby Woodruff before he gets upset at us. Die Giants fans, no AirPods, LeGoat. But that's the difference between the Mets and Yankees historically. And that is one thing I like about Brody. Like, he's been aggressive. He's been like, I'm gonna spend the money where it needs to be spent. But in recent history, now, a lot of people say that the Mets never spent. That's not true. Right. The Mets did spend from like 99, before Bernie Madoff, they spent from like 99 to 08, 09. They were routinely a top 5 team in payroll. But of course, after the Bernie Madoff thing, they became a small market team in a big market. And but that is one thing that the Yankees have always had a huge advantage over any team in baseball. They can make mistakes like Ellsbury. The Mets couldn't afford to do that. If the Mets missed on an Ellsbury, see Jason Bay. Similar type of situation, it would kill the team. Because the Yankees just go out there and they get somebody else. Right. The Mets don't do that. So that is the luxury that I always thought that your GM, Cashman, had over other GMs. Like, he made a lot of good moves, no doubt about it. But when other GMs make mistakes like that, like you just said, Ellsbury, they would be ruined. Where,
they're done. Yeah,
where he can fix that mistake by getting another player.
I don't know if we saw Scott Thomas in the chat. Rogue Dog, my man Smash Talk is here. Chris Senior. I mean, that's Chris Senior is me about 30 years ago. The kid is hilarious. He reminds me so much of me. It is unbelievable. It's just crazy. Amkar is here. By the way, who are you, Sports Reaction? I remember the logo, but I don't know. Crazy Dog is in the house, by the way. Jeff Billings is here. Ichigo.
Jeff Billings. What's going on, Jeff? How you doing, buddy?
Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. The one thing I'll say about the Yankees, yes, they do still have a high payroll, but they kind of gotten away from that and went back to what they're doing, and they're building through their farm system. Severino is one of our guys. Judge is one of our guys. They tried Tyler Austin. He didn't end up working. They made trades to get a Gleyber Torres over here, to get a Clint Frazier over here, to get an Aaron Hicks over here. They brought younger guys in here and not so much went after the huge free agents. They didn't get Manny Machado this year. They didn't get Bryce Harper. It wasn't even Cashman. It was George Steinbrenner. If George Steinbrenner, that's stuck in the 80s.
Where is he? Where is he?
He's the Sports Reaction.
He's got a new channel now. He's got a new channel now. Very good stuff. What's up, my man? I love that guy.
Yes, I'm glad he's glad you're still around, bro. That's freaking awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Good to see you still around, bro. We were worried about you, man. We said, where the hell did that guy go? So, thank you for being here, man. Really appreciate it. But yeah, George Steinbrenner would have signed them both. I have no doubt. He would have spent $700 million on those two players. There's not a doubt in my mind. George Steinbrenner wanted to bring every big star.
I know.
And it backfired.
It did. It definitely did. And you're absolutely in the 80s. I mean, you go down the list: Matt Noakes, Danny Tartabull, all the.
Oh God!
And the Mets did the same thing. The Mets did the same thing after Strawberry and Gooden left. They tried to bring in aging free agents: Bobby Bonilla, Eddie Murray, Vince Coleman, go down the list, and it didn't work. And it's not the way that you build a team. And the Yankees, I think, have really improved the way they've spent their money. Yes, they still spend, but they went back to their roots like they did in the 90s when they had that strong farm system. Everybody always says the Yankees were this, and they do spend, but they were this team. I mean, yeah, they had some key players on those great teams. Paul O'Neill was a free agent. Tino Martinez was a great free agent pickup. But
we traded for Tino.
Trade rather, yeah. But from the farm, I mean, Bernie, the core four: Bernie, Mariano, Posada, Pettit. Those are all homegrown guys.
Jeter,
of course, yeah.
Bernie. You said Bernie. Yeah. There's a lot of other guys, though. Jim Leyritz was big in '96. He was a homegrown guy. Randy Velarde was a homegrown guy. Ricky Leday sucked, but
Wade Boggs another free agent, right?
Yeah, Wade Boggs. What they did was they brought in high on base guys.
Right.
That was what they brought in to play here was high on base guys, and it worked. But when we started bringing in the Giambis and the Randy Johnsons and the Kevin Browns and the Roger,
Kevin Brown,
it started apart.
Yeah, AJ Burnett, another one.
Yep. Well, AJ Burnett actually kind of helped. But yeah, that was the one year where I'd say the Yankees actually bought their championship. Like, you always got Sox like, the Yankees buy their championship. So, of course, the Red Sox had the highest payroll in baseball last year. No Red Sox fan is going to say they bought that, right? In '04, I think they had one farm guy on their team, and that was Trot Nixon. Everybody else was a free agent or a trade, right? But they don't say nothing about that. What the Yankees were able to do that a lot of the small market teams couldn't do was pay their farm guys.
Right.
They could pay Jeter. They could pay Bernie. They could pay them. Where a team like, maybe the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right. Well, the Expos back in the day, the Marlins. You bring up the Marlins, and I just want to say hello to everybody else who may have popped in. Smash Talk, Diego. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll get to the chat in a couple of minutes. We just wanted to open this up, talk some baseball, and then we'll get to the chat and answer some questions soon. What I was going to say something there. The small market teams. You brought up the Marlins. That is one team I cannot stand the way that team operates. You want to talk about a team, they go all in for 1 or 2 year stretch, and then they just sell everyone off.
Yeah.
It is the dumbest. I mean, it worked for them twice. They won 2 World Series. They got lucky, but they won. But I can't stand that. They should not own a baseball team if they operate that way. I mean, it's ridiculous. They signed Reyes from the Mets to that really high contract. I don't remember what it was back then, but he was one of the highest paid players ever at the time, and they backloaded the contract. So, or whatever it was, so they only signed him for a year or two, and then they're like, this isn't going to work out, and they sold him off to the Rockies. And that's what they do with a ton of players.
Yeah. I mean, look at Stanton. They gave the guy 13 years, $325 million, and said, here you go. Yeah. I didn't want the Yankees to take him. I wanted Christian Yelich. My God. What an outfield the Marlins had. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton. All gone in 1 year.
And the catcher.
Real Muto, right?
Real Muto. They had an all-star team. How
did they not win with that?
Well, what happened was, I think that next year they were ready to pounce and possibly win the division, and then Fernandez died.
That's true. They never recovered from that.
I think that next year, if he didn't die, that team might have contended for a World Series that next year because they had a lot of talent.
That's a good call. They did, and those were guys, obviously, that they brought up from their farm system. So they've always known how to I love Christian Yelich. He's one of my favorite players in baseball, man. That kid is so good. You want to talk about 5-tool player? That guy's a 5-tool player.
I remember watching him when he first, because obviously I'm a Met fan. I see them play the Marlins a lot, and I remember watching him and being like, this guy, I didn't think he'd be as good as this, but I saw him, this guy's going to be a great player. He's one of those players, he does everything. He's not he's not a guy that's going to hit 50 home runs. He'll get you 25, 30 home runs. He's going to bat 300. He's great defense. I mean, he's kind of like Ryan Braun from the left side with a very smooth swing. I love that guy. That guy's a player.
But he can also steal 30 bases. Well, he might hit 40 home runs. This is a guy that you can say he didn't have power in Miami, but that park is a cavernous, enormous park. But also players develop. They get stronger as they get older.
No, he's a complete player. So was Braun, though. That's why I made the comparison.
Yes.
Braun in his prime could swipe bases, too, yeah.
Let's hope that Christian Yelich ain't on the sauce like Ryan Braun was, who lied about it. You notice how Ryan Braun get a pass? I'm wearing an A-Rod jersey tonight. And everyone always asks me about A-Rod, and I still say A-Rod's one of my favorite players of all time. Yes, he did some stupid crap. I get it. Yes, he took the steroids. He got busted, and then he took them again. He lied. I get it. He didn't handle a situation very well. But I always kind of think it's hilarious how A-Rod always takes this abuse for that. And a guy like Ryan Braun, who got someone fired from whatever the hell delivery company that was because they said his urine sat somewhere and it raised the levels of his testosterone somehow. And then he gets busted like a year later, a month later, and he comes out and
go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm just saying. So he gets busted and he gets an 80-game suspension, but nobody cares. And then ever since he comes back from the steroids,
people forget about it.
He stinks.
Well, there's a lot of Ortiz is another guy that people kind of just forget about.
They love him.
Yeah. But I forgot what I was going to say. I had something in my head, but it's all right. DeGrom will get MVP over Yelich. I hope so, Jeremy. The way DeGrom pitches. Now, did Kershaw win the MVP? I can't remember. I remember one year he was so dominant and he was up. I don't remember if he won it.
Kershaw won the MVP.
I know pitchers have won the MVP. I know that didn't Gagne win the Cy Young that year as a reliever?
Yeah, Eckersley won it as a reliever too. He won a Cy Young award and the MVP. I think he won them both in 1991. I think he won them both, or 92. One of those years he won them both. He won the Cy Young and MVP.
He brings up DeGrom. I mean, you've been watching baseball I'm wearing a Johan Santana jersey. I've been watching baseball for a very long time. You've been watching it much longer though. Have you?
Yeah, thanks for rubbing at it, and then I'm old. Okay.
But DeGrom was actually he was a pleasant surprise because when the Mets had a huge farm system, right? Harvey was very highly touted. Syndergaard very highly touted. Matt's very highly touted. Wheeler very highly touted. The guy that was not was DeGrom. DeGrom kind of surprised people. He wasn't, he was a good prospect, but he wasn't one of these elite guys. And since you've been watching the game, have you seen... you could probably count on one hand how many pitchers you've seen as good as this guy. That's how dominant this guy's been.
I'm trying to think.
I'm saying over a 2 or 3 year stretch.
Pedro in the late '90s. I don't think I've ever seen a more dominant player than Pedro Martinez, a dominant pitcher than Pedro over those years. That was ridiculous. How good he was.
Best year ever, as far as I'm concerned. That 98 was it?
97 through 2000. He was just unhittable.
Yeah.
Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
Greg Maddux. Those are the guys, and I think that probably I put him in there. So I'm looking
Kershaw. You got to put Kershaw in there too.
Yeah, Kershaw. People are telling me the Red Sox are getting destroyed, and I can't find the game. I'm looking all over for the damn game to put it on. But yeah, DeGrom is he's special, and to win a Cy Young Award when what did he win 8 or 9 games last year?
I think he won 10, but either way.
Yeah, okay, so that thank you so much for the super chat, Scott Thomas. He says, "Friends don't let friends network." Dilly, my man, thank you so much for the super chat.
What's going on, Nelson? Thank you for tuning in the stream, buddy.
We will not be doing any networking over here. These are sports channels. But thank you so much for the super chat. You know what? It's probably on from 7 o'clock. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Put that on anyway. I forgot what we were talking about.
We're talking about dominant pitcher. Another one's Bumgarner in recent time. That guy is as clutch as they come. That guy's phenomenal. Schilling was a great clutch pitcher. Schilling's and you might not like hearing this as a Yankee fan, and I don't like Schilling off the baseball field. I think he's a loudmouth and whatever, but on the baseball field, as clutch as they come. That guy was unreal in the big spot. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, I never liked Schilling. I always thought Schilling was kind of overrated. I think he whined his way to getting co-MVP of the 2001 World Series. He gave up the game-winning homer to Soriano. Alfonso Soriano hit that home run in the 8th inning, and I can remember saying to myself, the Yankees just won their 4th championship because Mariano's coming in here and the game's over.
Right.
And, he struck out the side in the 8th, and then the 9th inning, and things just fell apart for him. But I remember thinking to myself, he would have lost had Mariano not blown it. So why did he? Randy Johnson was the dominant pitcher in that series. So, yeah, Clemens is another one, really dominant for a good amount of easing. Same thing with Darryl Strawberry. You'd be hard pressed to find a more talented ball player than Darryl Strawberry in the early part of his career. He was just a 30-30 guy. Good outfielder. He was one of those guys where when he stepped up to the plate, you didn't go anywhere. You wanted to watch how far this guy could hit the ball because he could hit it over the moon.
Yeah.
And he resurrected his career. The Yankees won 3 World Series with us. So, and I tell a story a lot to Mets fans who don't want to hear this, but Strawberry played on the 86 Mets and the 98 Yankees. And Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden are constants when it comes to baseball card shows around here. They're very obtainable. They're very easy to they're accessible. They'll sign stuff, and they're both very nice guys. Dwight Gooden. I had a long conversation with Dwight Gooden. He's a Giants fan. It was one of the best conversations I ever had with a ball player. Just the nicest guy. But I asked Darryl Strawberry point blank. And maybe it's because I had a Yankees jersey on, so maybe he was just appeasing me. Right. I don't know. But I said, you played on the 86 Mets and the 98 Yankees. If they met up in a 7-game series, who would win? And he said the 98 Yankees. And I think the reason he said that, Mariano Rivera.
Maybe. It's close. Those
Mariano Rivera against Jesse Orosco?
Well, yeah. Those are 2 of the greatest teams in baseball history, though. That 86 team ran away and hid that year. They were, obviously they didn't have the same amount of wins, but 2 of the top probably 10 teams ever, a regular season team. That good.
You know what else is a common denominator? Not a common denominator, but it's something I find very amusing about both the 86 Mets and the 98 Yankees. Both of those teams had a massive brawl with another team. I think the Mets had a massive brawl with the Reds in 86. The Yankees had a massive brawl with the Orioles in 98.
Armando Benitez.
Yes, because Bernie drilled a grand slam off of him to give the lead, and then he drilled Tino Martinez in the back. And everything just... Strawberry went nuts.
There's a Mets closer that used to... And he was very good, but he always made you sweat beneath as, and he choked in the big spot against your Yankees in 2000. Don't even get me started with that. But
O'Neal just had a really good at-bat again. I mean, O'Neal had a great at-bat. Sometimes you got to tip he fouled off like 7 pitches. I mean, it was a really good professional bat. That today, Chris, if Armando Benitez is facing Giancarlo Stanton, he probably strikes him out of 4 pitches.
No, you're right.
You know, I mean, it's just the way the Yankees played. They were contact hitters. That's the way they used to play baseball. They shorten up their swing and just try to get the ball in play. So it was just a really I feel like that was a better at-bat than, for Paul O'Neal. Bad pitching.
Let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. Now, I want you to be honest. In Game 1,
Timo?
If Timo runs that ball out and the Mets win Game 1, do they win the World Series?
It would have definitely changed things.
Because it's 2-1, because Reed wins Game 3 for the Mets. So it's 2-1. Mets have the lead if they win Game 1. So it's a completely different...
The only thing I'll say is we would have been going back to the Bronx for Game 6 and 7, so I think we would have had an advantage there because we would have been home. We clinched it in Game 5 at Shea Stadium. So I think we would have had an advantage, but who knows?
It's a completely different series.
It's a Phantom Turner when Perez didn't run the ball out. So, it's great. It's a very good question, and I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know. And 15 was the same. Raphael, we'll get funny at the end, but 15 was the same exact. It was almost a mirror image as a Mets fan. I don't know how close you watched it because you're a Yankees fan, but the 2015 World Series was almost identical. They lost in 5. Every game was close. They won Game 3. Game 1 they should have won. They committed more errors than they blew every game. And the Mets should have won in 15 too. And I mean,
I watched every game. Yeah, I watch every game.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm watching the Red Sox playing the damn World Series because I'm watching the Mets. I told you, when the Mets make the World Series, except for against the Yankees, obviously, I root for them. I wanted the Mets to beat the Royals. I don't have a problem with the Mets.
Yeah,
that's the one team in the National League they make the play. I will root for them because I don't have a problem with the Mets. They don't bother me. They're not around. The Red Sox I despise.
Well, of course.
Like no other team except maybe the Eagles.
Yeah.
I hate the Red Sox with a passion. I can't stand the Red Sox. So the Mets, I rooted for them. I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can ask me the same question.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to the chat and take some questions.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Favorite moment as a Mets fan?
Piazza home run.
I was gonna say take the Piazza home run away.
Okay, yeah, because the 9/11 home run. I mean,
it gives me chills, Chris, and I'm a Yankee. Bob, thank you so much for the super chat. Dilly says this is for a little bad dog's birthday. Yeah, little bad dog turns 2. Oh, I did see real quick. I did see somebody ask me who's my son's favorite player. He's 2. Aaron Judge. When he was born in April, and I swear in July when I was watching the Yankees, and he was 2 or 3 months old. I swear to God, he would stop and watch Aaron Judge hit. And I was going to get him an Aaron Judge onesie, but I'm like, he'll grow out of it like that, So I didn't do it, but he's mesmerized by Aaron Judge. It is really funny. He will just sit there and look at him because he's so huge, but he's mesmerized by Judge. I'm sorry. What was your favorite?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you a few moments because I can't break it down to one because they haven't won a World Series. So it's like there's a lot of memorable moments for me. The Andy Chavez catch.
I was going to say that one.
The Andy Chavez catch. My favorite Met of all time, actually, believe it or not. Well, my favorite Met when I first started watching, and I think he's the clutchest Met since I've been watching the team, is Edgardo Alfonso. I loved him. But my favorite Met to watch play, for the same reason that you said about Darryl Strawberry, when he was in his prime, you want to talk about a guy that was worth the price of admission, that you were glued to the TV screen, was Jose Reyes. Jose Reyes was unbelievable. The way that he could go to first and third, the plays he made in the field. But in terms of individual plays, Andy Chavez catch, the Grand Slam single by Ventura, the Todd Pratt walk-off home run in the NLDS against the Diamondbacks, the Benny Agbayani walk-off Grand Slam in the NLCS, Timo Perez waiting for that fly ball to come down as the Mets are about to go to the Subway Series to face the Yankees against the Cardinals. I remember getting goosebumps. And then, obviously the Chavez. I mean, there's so many famous plays in the playoffs. Unfortunately, we don't win. I'll tell you, the one time I cried watching the Mets, I was a kid. I was 14. And playing the Braves, 99. We could not beat that team that year. We couldn't beat them. I remember there was one regular season game. I think it was the 99 season. And the Mets trailed by like 7 runs in the bottom of the 8th. And they rallied. They scored 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Piazza with the go-ahead home run off the wall. back then at Shea you had the barrier, right? It was blue with the orange line and then more blue. He hit it off the top. And that is my favorite regular season game I've ever watched on TV. I just remember going crazy. But I cried in that 99 season because that 99 Met team was so special to me. The best defensive infield in the history of baseball. I mean, Ordonez, Alphonse, it was such a fun team to watch. Henderson had a great bounce back year. Olerud, unbelievable. Piazza, Alfonso was incredible that year. Ventura could have easily won the MVP that year. Ray Ordonez with the glove. I mean, that team was special. Leiter, now the thing that they didn't have was the pitching. Leiter was really good. Rick Reed was solid, but they didn't have the 2000 team. If they could have had Mike Hampton on that team, I think they would have won the World Series. But that 99 team, they fall down 3-0 to the Braves. They come back, they win Game 4, then the walk-off grand slam by Ventura, and then as a kid you're getting excited. You're like, this might be magical. And then it goes into like 12 innings or whatever it was, extra innings, and then Kenny Rogers walks in the run with the bases loaded to end the season. And I started tearing up. But that's the most emotional I ever got watching a Met game.
Kenny Rogers, he sucked for the Yankees too. Yeah, I mean, as a Yankee fan, I'm blessed with so many great moments, and a lot of them are in that top 10. I'm going to tell you how good Jose Reyes was, in case there's younger Mets fans in here that did not watch Jose Reyes in his prime. Jose Reyes was so good. I'll be right back. Well, hold on one second.
Yeah. He's going to be right back. I'll tell you this. Jose Reyes.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I didn't go very far.
Oh, okay.
Jose Reyes was so good, Chris.
Wow.
Jose Reyes was so exciting that I bought a Jose Reyes jersey because I freaking loved Jose Reyes. He was one of the most exciting players in baseball. Yeah. I mean, I loved the guy. And I was like, you know what? And I went to a Mets game one day. I said, you know, I'm buying his jersey. I don't care. I don't care. I just not like I wear it around.
Right. But it's like a respect thing.
I had, because not only was this guy stealing 70, 80 bases, he played great shortstop, he had a lot of power, and he was just an electric player. And I loved the guys that were fast. I loved Ricky Henderson. I loved Barry Bonds in his prime. I loved Eric Davis. These guys that were just not the biggest guys. Like Barry Bonds was not 240 pounds before the steroids. He was like 180. Jose Reyes was probably 180 pounds. Eric Davis was 100. Alfonso Soriano's another guy I love. Vladimir Guerrero. The guys that were
my favorite player. Yeah, Guerrero.
I loved those guys. But that's how good Jose Reyes was, that I have a Jose Reyes jersey.
Jose Reyes from like 05 to 08, 09. I mean, I've never seen him work. Jose Reyes is the type of player that, to me anyway, a lot of these kids that don't like baseball, if they got to watch him, they'd be baseball fans. He's the type of player that has that electricity that makes you glued to the screen because you're just enamored with his complete game, his speed first and third, his plays in the field. He was the most fun player I've ever watched play in a Met uniform, and that includes David Wright. Jose Reyes was ridiculous. Yeah. So
to get to some of my favorite Yankee moments, I guess I'll kind of go in order. There's a lot of them. My favorite one is the 96 Yankees. I mean, like I said, I cried in pain in 1995 when they lost to the Mariners. But 96, when they finally won, man, the waterworks were flowing. I felt like I was part of that team, even though I wasn't. Just watching Charlie Hayes, because John Wetland had to make it he had to kill me, man. They're up 3-1 in the ninth. He gives up the walk, 2 hits. He has first and third, 2 outs. He gives up a run. It's 3-2. And Mark Lemke, who had hit so many big hits for the Braves, comes up. He pops one up into the stands. Charlie Hayes goes over to try to catch it, falls into the dugout. We don't know if he catches it or not. So I'm thinking they won the World Series. And then Lemke gets another at bat. So I can't breathe. And then he does it. It's almost like the same exact fly ball, but this time it stays in play. And Hayes catches it. And I just don't know what to do with myself. I'm running around the house. I'm freaking crying. I don't know what to do. But the year before, Mattingly's home run, because Mattingly was so good, back problems zapped him of his power. He was not the same player after 1990. He really just kind of fell apart after 1990. Never had the power. Always a great fielding for his baseman, but definitely was not the same player. But he was the only good Yankee for so long, and people my age freaking loved Don Mattingly. Love him. He was our guy. When he hit that home run in the 95 playoffs, that stadium was so ridiculously I get chills thinking about this. because Gary Thorne says it right before Ruben Sierra just hit a homer to tie the game, and Gary Thorne says, "Here's Mattingly. The fans want a dinger out of him." He says,
right.
In a 1-0 pitch, he just drops in and he just crushes into the crowd just goes crazy. They start throwing shit on the field. Lou Piniello's got to pull his guys off because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They're beside themselves because they're so happy that he hit a home run. And he had such a good series, which is one of the reasons it was so heartbreaking to me, because I wanted Mattingly to win a World Series. I mean, he was my guy. So it was bittersweet that they won it in 96. The 2 home runs in the World Series in 2001, the Tino Martinez and the Scott Brocious homers to tie the game, because 2001 obviously was an emotional year for New York.
Right, of course.
For reasons. Just those home runs really, they stick in my head. I mean, it's just crazy. Just the amount of, from like 96 through 2003, the amount of great moments. The Aaron Boone home run against the Red Sox team that I hated. Oh, I hated Manny Ramirez. I hated Pedro Martinez. I hated David Ortiz. I hated Jason Varitek.
Kevin Millar.
There was a Red Sox player on that team. I was like, he's okay. I never hated a team more than I hated the 2003-2004 Red Sox. Never. So when Boone hit the walk-off homer, they had the fight where Pedro threw Zimmer to the ground. I was seething. I wanted to punch Pedro. I think I actually got him punched to TV. But I think he was showing him, and I just wanted to hit him so bad. He's doing an 80-year-old guy to the ground. I'm like, what are you trying to prove? So the home run was huge. But, after that, 2009 was obviously very special. I was very happy that A-Rod had a very good, because it was always he chokes. He had an incredible 2009 postseason where he hit 6 homers and drove in 18 runs in that postseason. And there really hasn't been many great moments since. But
listen, man, you have a lifetime worth of great moments for Met fans.
Yes.
But I'll say this: once the Mets win one, I always say this: it is going to feel like 10 Yankee championships. That's how I cannot wait till it happens, because I've had to live now.
You guys made some really good moves, but we got to save some for next.
Yeah.
Let's get a chat, guys.
Yeah, let's get to the chat. Let's see. Stuck in the scene. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and ask. I know it's on a delay, so go ahead and ask your question. Cesar Muno says the Cannoli brothers.
Yes.
Eli's never won a game against Phillip Rivers. I don't really care about that. Chris Sonore's won 2 Super Bowl rings. I could care less.
Yeah. No Mets questions, Yankee questions, throw them out there.
Imagine how it would feel if the Indians win one. We were so close. Crazy Dog, let me tell you something about those.
They were close in 97, too.
Yeah,
they did win one. No, they lost in 95. 95 and 97, they were very close.
Those 90s Indians teams, best lineup I've ever seen. That's how good that team was, with Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, Kenny Lofton. I mean, those lineups were Albert Bell. I mean,
oh, God.
Omar Vizquel, Carlos Baerga, Travis Fryman, Sandy Alomar Jr.
Wasn't Roberto Alomar on that team, too? Or was he on the Orioles?
I think he was later. But he was still... I think he was there with Manny, though. But that was when Thome had already left, I think. But
L.A. Yankee King says, "Would I want Jock Peterson for left field?" No. We got a bunch of Jock Petersons on this team. He's an all-or-nothing guy, so I don't think I'd want him. And we have a lot of outfield depth. Who do I... The best team in the NL East?
I appreciate that, Dire Giants fan. I always say it, and I say it every year. If they could stay healthy, the Mets, I think they'll make the playoffs if they could stay healthy.
Best team in the NL East. It's a tough question, Brandon. They're all different. The Braves, I think, are very solid all around. I think the Mets really improved by adding offense to their team. The Mets got the best rotation in that. See, I think the Braves are the most balanced. I think the Phillies got the best offense. I think the Mets got the best pitching. So it's really tough. If I have to choose, I'd give a slight edge to the Phillies.
I agree.
But with the Mets, if the Mets stay healthy and they hit the ball, they're going to be very tough to beat because of that pitching. And the Mets, like you said, they're built for the playoffs.
And have you seen this kid? Have you seen this kid, Alonso?
Alonso, he's actually one of my tags in the thing. Yeah, so yes, Pete Alonso.
That kid can hit. That kid is going to be a player. He's not like Ike Davis. Like when Ike Davis came up, he had a fluky half season, but you always saw with Ike Davis that he had a lot of holes in his swing. He always stepped out of the bucket. Yeah. He was very pull-up. This kid, Alonso, he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be a very good player.
It's awesome when you have a young guy that just comes up and just takes it, like Aaron Judge for us.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge took the world by storm.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be that good, but he's going to be very good, I think. Most surprising team so far. I mean, it's too early, Caesar. You got to ask me that question after 25 games.
After 6-7 games, it's tough. I mean, I'm surprised the Tigers are as good as they are. I mean, that's when their pitching's pretty damn good. I was surprised at them.
Thoughts on Fernando Tatis, Chris Nor? Fernando Tatis, he's been out of baseball for a while, but Fernando Tatis is actually, he's a former Met. I think he played there for 1 or 2 years, but he's the only player, to my recollection, that hit 2 grand slams in the same inning.
Yes.
He did, right? Yeah.
Yep. I bet you Jock Peterson will be a better player with the Yankees than the Dodgers. But maybe he will, but again, he's a low average guy that hits a ton of homers. We have so many of those guys. I mean, honestly, he'd be an upgrade over Brett Gardner. I will say that, but Gardner's not going anywhere, and I don't know. The problem is, where would we put Jock Peterson? Because when Aaron Hicks gets healthy, Clint Frazier's going to go down. Brett Gardner's going to be on the bench. So I don't really know. I don't know where we would put Jock Peterson. We have so many outfielders on this team. It's crazy.
Oh, he's talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought he was talking about Fernando, the father. I saw that Goatcon's in the chat, by the way. You haven't seen him in a while. I know.
Good. Maybe his report card got lost in the mail.
But I saw a few questions. I lost them, though, so go ahead and ask them again.
Who wins the title first, Mets or Yankees? Again, it's tough. The Mets have if we could put the teams together, we'd win a World Series.
Yeah, I mean, you guys want to transition. I mean, we'll do that in the end. We'll do some fun stuff, but we're trying to build up a baseball show because I think in the long run that will help our channels grow. We know you guys love the nonsense, and it's a lot of fun, and we're going to do them. It's probably not going to be every week, but we are going to do them.
Yeah, you can only get so much nonsense every week.
Yeah, and how do you feel about I'll tell you, Joe, we were talking about clutchest pitchers ever. I brought up Schilling as one of them. Bumgarner's another, and Beckett's another. I mean, Beckett wasn't the greatest regular season pitcher, but in the big spot, and he knows as a Yankee fan.
I do.
In the big spot, Beckett can pitch.
I knew all about it. Yeah, him and Burnett killed us.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, so did Pavano. That's why we ended up signing that disgustingly poor contract. Oh, God, the Yankees have had so many bad contracts. Oh, my God, it's just ridiculous. Jose Reyes says, who's your least favorite bust for the Yankees? Greg Bird. I hate Greg Bird. I'm sick and tired of Greg Bird. I can't stand him. People are like, oh, he ran into one pitch against Andrew Miller in the playoffs. Everyone thinks he's great. He's Kevin Moss. Kevin Moss came up, hit 21 homers in half a season. Everyone's dubbing this guy the next Yankee stud. Then he hit 220. Then he was out of baseball. Greg Bird has hit under 200 the last 2 years, and he's always injured. Stinks. I hate Greg Bird.
Should the MLB have a salary cap?
Ruben Rivera's another one, by the way. Freaking Ruben Rivera.
Oh, God.
I hate Ruben Rivera. Stole Jeter's glove. That's Mariano Rivera's cousin. But he stole Jeter's glove.
I'll go down a list of Mets that I hate. I'll go down. It's a big list. Luis Castillo, Oliver Perez. I mean, those are two. They're Jason Bay, Jeremy Benitez, Mo Vaughn, Roberto Alomar, Carlos Baerga. Jesus Christ, you go on all night with the list of Mets. I mean, with their free agent, Bobby Bonilla. Jesus. But yeah, a lot of Mets I hate, but I still love the team.
That was me going back to the late '80s. We had all those overpriced, the Danny Tartables, the freaking, like you said, the Matt Noakes, the the Ron Kittles and the freaking Gary Renicke's and the Gary Wards and all those players were awful.
Is your win against the Cubs?
Greg Bird is shown more good than bad when healthy. No, he hasn't. He's a career 214 hitter, and he's 27 years old. The guy's never shown anything. He's shown that he can run into a pitch now and again, and his bat speed he gets blown away by 93-mile-an-hour fastballs. You can't catch up to a 93-mile-an-hour fastball in Major League Baseball. You don't belong there. He gets beat on high fastballs constantly.
Greg Bird seems like he's been a bit of a bust. And I saw Chris Tenor ask about if them beating the Cardinals. I mean, of course, whenever you win, it's a good thing. But, I mean, it's way too early to get excited. I know that as a Met fan. I mean, most years the Mets start out, not like last year, but most years the Mets start out fairly well the first 10 games, and a lot of times it goes to hell. So I always say baseball, you really should give it, before you even want to get a little excited, 40 games. 40 games, you get a feel,
season.
Yeah, you get a feel of your team, And around that 80-game mark, that's when you decide, the trade deadline, so it's probably more like the 95-game mark, when you really decide, am I going for it? And a team can change on a dime. The 2015 Mets, everybody forgets this, they were a 500 team. They were a 500 team, and they're about ready to trade Wilmer Flores. That is maybe one of the most iconic moments since I've been watching them.
I remember that.
They're getting ready to trade Wilmer Flores, who was a fan favorite, and Zach Wheeler for Carlos Gomez, who's now on the Mets. He's in their farm system because he can't play in the big leagues anymore. That trade was done. And I think Gomez failed a physical. And Flores is on the field crying his eyes out because he just got informed he's being traded. He's a homegrown Met. And then they cancel the trade. The next day, they get Cespedes. And Flores hits a walk-off home run as a Met. And that team, after that day, boom, after the trade deadline, they went from 500 to a team that probably should have won the World Series. And Cespedes and Flores, really, that moment and bringing in Cespedes changed that team. And that's what is great about baseball. If you could get to that deadline and you're in contention and you could pick up a couple of key pieces, I mean, Cespedes, for that half a season, or 60 games, was as good as almost any player I've ever seen over a 60-game stretch. Every night he was hitting a walk-off home run. It was ridiculous. Put the team on his back.
Yeah. Mike Marina, that's another good one. Chase Headley, greatest Yankee. Oh, God, did I hate Chase Headley. Gave that guy $52 million, and he hit 200. He stinks. Oh, God, they had so many bad contracts. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jason Giambi was the worst signing for the Yankees. At least Giambi contributed. I mean, he lost his average because he started getting pull happy, which a lot of lefties do at Yankee Stadium. I mean, I was excited because Giambi was hitting 340 for the A's and hitting the ball to the opposite gap. And then he went to the Yankees, and I think the first year he hit 300 with 40 homers. Then he hit 250 with 40 homers. Then he had the steroid thing, and then he kind of fell off after that. But he did contribute to the Yankees. I mean, he did have good years.
That short porch probably had a lot to do with him.
It did. He wanted to pull everything. And it happened with Teixeira, too. Teixeira was a much better hitter with the Rangers than he was with the Yankees because of that reason, without a doubt. But, so.
I'm just trying to see. If the Mets don't win a World Series with this rotation, would you? No. I mean, I don't expect. I can't. I mean, the Mets were horrible. They won, 77 games last year? I can't expect them to win a World Series this year. But I will say this. If they get in. If the Mets get in, and I'm not saying the wild card, if they win the division, I think they have as good a chance as any team in the playoffs. If they get in.
I agree.
But they have to get in. But if they get in, and I think they'll add another arm if they're in contention at the deadline. I think they'll add a lefty out of the bullpen because I think they could use that. And if they get in with the back end of that bullpen and the front part of that starting rotation, you don't want to play them. Not with DeGrom and Syndergaard and Wheeler. You don't want to play them in the playoffs.
That's tough in a 5-game series, especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beak 123 brings up another freaking Yankee that I couldn't stand. Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. Oh God, the Yankees had so many bad players when I was growing up, man. It was unreal how bad they were. Just unbelievable. Crazy Mofo says, "Do I want a Dodgers Yankees?" Listen, I don't care who the Yankees play. Just get the Yankees in the World Series. I don't care who we play. I'd like another Subway Series. That'd be my favorite.
That would be the best. That would be the best stream of all time.
It would be. It'd be a lot of fun. We'd be doing every game together.
Yeah,
it'd be great. By the way, guys, again, thank you for joining us. If you have not done so, man, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, go into the description. Click on the link to the Enterainah Talking Sports, the beautiful guy in the Mets jersey. Make sure you hit his big red button and ring his bell. And if you happen to be new to my channel, do the same for the old Baddog. Hit the big red button and ring the bell. We'll be doing this show a lot. We do a Giants show a lot. We work together all the time. So, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And I'll take some more questions.
And I saw Kristen Orr ask, where would you rank the Mets all-time in the National League? Now, it's tough to say because the Mets aren't around as long as a lot of other teams. Like the Cardinals are obviously way above them, but that's just an example off the top of my head. The Pirates have been around a lot longer. There's a lot of teams that have been around longer. They're probably middle of the pack in the National League, maybe a little bit below. Since they've been in Major League Baseball, they're probably middle of the pack. I would guess. 5 World Series appearances in what, about 55, 60. It's about middle of the pack.
Chris Senior says, do you think teams like the Padres and Mets have a chance? No, he's got the Padres in there.
No, I don't think the Padres do, if I'm honest. I think the Mets do. I'm not saying that they're a favorite or even close, but I do think they have a chance.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The Brandon wants to see a 10-year anniversary. Listen, I don't care who we play. Yankees, Phillies, I'm fine with that too. Just have a feeling Bryce Harper would be killing us with that short porch and right and him hitting. That's why I wanted Bryce Harper over Manny Machado here, but that didn't happen, obviously.
Andrew asked me, who's the three most underrated Mets of the last decade? So the last 10 years. So from 2009 to 2019. Great question. I got to think about that one.
Yes, Eric, I'm doing a Yankee game tomorrow night. It'll be live 6:45. Yankees and Orioles.
Oh God, why is his name escaping me? He was so good from 15 and the shortstop. He carried the Mets at 16 to the wild card. I always thought he was incredibly underrated, but he was only on the Mets for 2 years. Oh God, the Spanish guy, the shortstop, the older shortstop. He played for the Rays. Oh man, but he's
Julio Lugo.
No, not Julio Lugo. God, it's escaped me. I should know this. He was really good as a Met, but I do know, but it's escaped me.
Jose Cantu. I don't know if that's the guy.
No. Oh, Cabrera. That's Drupal Cabrera. He is one of the three most underrated Mets since 2009. 100%. What he did for that. What?
Indian.
Yeah, Indian. Yeah. But he played for the Rays too, I believe.
Did he? I don't even remember him playing.
Yeah, but he maybe I'm wrong, but he carried that team in 16, and he was played with a hurt leg. He was the driving force behind that team to make the playoffs in 16, so he would be on my three most underrated for sure. I got to think about that.
Best baseball rivalry, Yankees-Red Sox. I don't think anybody can argue that, Raphael. I think that's the best.
I'll go Murphy because he didn't put up the stats, but even before that playoff stretch, I always liked Murphy. He did a lot of things that people didn't get, he kind of went unnoticed. He never struck out. He always advanced runners. I always loved Murphy. So I'll go Murphy as an underrated player. And, of course, you got his due after that playoff run. But, and I'll go with, who's underrated? The problem is I'll go DeGrom. Before last year, I thought he was underrated because people were still saying that obviously now he's not, but before last year I will say he was underrated because people were saying Harvey and Syndergaard were better. They were saying going into last year that Syndergaard was the ace. So I'll go with those three.
Beak, I agree with you. I love Luke Voit myself. I mean, he carried the Yankees down the stretch to make the wild card last year. With the A's and Mariners are both catching us, and Luke Voit put a team on his back, and that's a big back. That kid is strong. And he had a big home run yesterday, and I agree. I love Luke Voit. This is why I think we can get rid of Greg Bird. To hell with him. Let Luke Voit play first base. Smash Dog, I am not streaming that game tomorrow. I told the Texas Tech fans I'm calling the national championship game anyway, so I'll do Texas Tech when they beat Michigan State. But I'm doing the Yankees. It's baseball season to me, and I know it's going to happen Monday night. I know everybody and their brothers screaming the college championship game, but it's a college championship game. Got to do it. But everyone's going to do the hot Final Four. I just want to put more Yankee stuff. Like I said, I want to do 2 or 3 games a week, and because they play at 7, it's difficult for me. But that game I can do. So I want to do the Yankees tomorrow. So I'm not gonna do the other game.
Jose Reyes says, "Who's your favorite Met manager since you've been watching?" Bobby Valentine. Not even close. It's not. I mean, Art Howe was horrible. Bobby Valentine had a lot of success with the Mets. So I got to go Bobby V. Willie Randolph was too short-lived, and the team kind of quit on him towards the end. It's got to be Valentine in my opinion. I actually like Terry Collins. A lot of Mets fans didn't like him. I like Terry Collins. Now he wasn't the best X's and O's guys. He used the bullpen a little too much. He made a lot of double switches and moves that you would scratch your head. But one thing I'll say about Terry Collins, Bad Dog, never quit. The team never quit on him. Ever, ever, ever. They always played their hardest they possibly could. And to me, that's the most important thing for a manager.
It is.
Yeah.
Except for when Mike Francesa went on his epic Mets rant. When he said Terry Collins had never been accepting of the losing, but now that's probably my favorite Francesa rant of all time, that Mets one. They just got swept by a team that was 46-73. 46 and 73. You know, it's hilarious. And Terry Collins is becoming so. Oh, he had a couple good at bats. He won because Daniel fouled off a couple pitches. Why is Boone our manager, Detonator? I wish I knew the answer to that because I freaking hate Aaron Boone. I hate him. Stinks. He stinks.
I'm not a Callaway guy, Jeremy, but maybe he'll win me over. I am not a Callaway guy. He's too analytical for me. I'm not a Callaway guy.
I don't like Boone. He's too damn analytical.
Yeah.
Didi was so cool. I love Didi, Mike. We're missing Didi in that lineup. That's a real left-handed power bat. We don't have a left-handed power bat in this lineup. We don't have any damn lefties, especially with Hicks hurt. Because he's a switch hitter. We have no lefties.
That to me,
all righties.
That to me is the difference. I still don't get it to this day. How the hell, if Didi became a Met, this would never happen. How the hell do you get Didi Gregorius, who is known as like a little bit better hitting than like a Ray Ordonez, and then he turns into this all-star hitter? Like, you got him for his glove. He was never known for his bat, ever. And then he becomes a Yankee, and he's one of the best hitters in baseball. It's amazing to me.
When we traded for Didi, I don't even remember who we traded for him offhand now. I can't remember who it was. But I remember saying, what the hell do we trade for this freaking 240 hitter with no power, no speed for? Why the hell are we bringing him here? I said he already failed with the Reds, then he went to the Diamondbacks. They're getting rid of him. This guy stinks. Yeah. How's he on 3 teams before he even really plays?
How does it happen?
Was I wrong about that?
Yeah, it's just amazing to me, though, because if he became a Met, he would have still been a 250 hitter with 2 home runs. It's just amazing to me. I don't know. I wish we had your luck when it comes to stuff like that.
The Yankees didn't play today because it was the off day. The Orioles had their home opener yesterday, so they always have the day off after just in case it gets postponed. The Yankees did not play today.
Christian Orr, I'll give the Padres a slight chance. The Marlins have no chance. The Marlins are the worst team in baseball. The Marlins have no chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, okay. Chrisman says it was Shane Green. I thought it was a different Green, but we ended up getting. I get Shane Green's a closer for the Tigers now. Was that a 3-way deal with Austin Jackson? Because I'm pretty sure that. What the hell was that when we traded Austin Jackson to the Tigers? I forget what that 3-way deal was. Because Shane Green ended up starting for the Tigers, and he was really good.
Andrew DeCall says Didi got that Yankees fairy magic dust sprinkled on him, and boom, now he's a stud.
Yes, I don't know what it is, but it's...
I go down the list. Scott Brosius wasn't a hitter before he became a Yankee. There's tons of players. It's just somehow when they become...
Part of it, Chris, the lineup.
Well, that definitely helps.
It's the lineup, because you're going to sit there and go, you know what? I'm not gonna walk Didi Gregorius and let...
No, you're absolutely right. The lineup helps.
The lineup definitely helps.
I always said that about Daniel Murphy when he came up. I have a lot of, I talk Mets with a lot of my friends, and I'm not going to say he was as good as David Wright, but I always said Daniel Murphy, when he came up, was not near in the same situation Wright was, and I always thought Wright was a little overrated and Daniel Murphy was underrated because Murphy came up, he had no protection. He had no one in that lineup, and you saw what happened when he got protection. Everybody remembers the playoff run. The last 65 games after they got Cespedes, he batted .309, he hit 9 home runs. So he showed, or 320 or whatever it was, but he showed signs of it before the playoffs. And of course, when he went to the Nationals, same thing. So you're absolutely right. A lot of times players, obviously, are going to perform a lot better when they have a better surrounding lineup. And look what Wright came up with Beltran, Delgado, Reyes. He came up in a perfect situation. And
exactly.
His numbers helped because of it.
Does C.J. Cron still play? I actually don't know. I don't know where he is. As someone asked if I'm watching baseball, I'm watching the Rangers and Angels right now. That's the game I have on. I think that's the only late game going tonight. You should check out Urinating Tree. Urinating Tree is pretty funny. Didi to Arizona for Shane Green. Yeah, I thought that was a 3-way deal for Didi Gregorius. I forgot it was Robbie Ray. Someone mentioned Austin Jackson was part of the Curtis Granderson deal, so that makes sense. But we've made a couple of 3-way deals with the Tigers a couple times. So,
good call, Joe Lutz. King Felix, great pitcher. Great call. King Felix, unbelievable.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Definitely very good, without a doubt.
Question for the entertainer: do you look at Justin Turner and there's another guy? I mean, it's reverse. I mean, Justin Turner. We always saw some talent as a Met, not what he became, but they just got rid of him for nothing. And then he goes on, and he was this pesky player. And I mean, he had a couple of great years after the Mets got rid of him. There's another guy, Murphy and him, they get rid of, and they're superstars.
Yeah, Oh, it seems like some of the Yankees they'll get rid of their pitching, and they go on to become other stars. I mean, not that Ian Kennedy was a great,
Good call on Ian.
but
Kennedy,
he
yeah.
won 21 games with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes it's difficult to pitch in New York. And if you're a fly ball pitcher like Phil Hughes was, and they had all this hope for Phil Hughes, but he was a fly ball pitcher, that does not bode well for you in Yankee Stadium. When he went to Minnesota, he pitched a little better, but he wasn't great there. Ian Kennedy had a hard time with the media in New York, and some guys just can't handle it. I think it hurt Randy Johnson. He couldn't handle the media in New York. I mean, I can remember him being here, and he shoved that photographer down on the ground, and the photographer got up and said, "Welcome to New York." He didn't ever endear himself. He didn't get along with Jorge Posada. He was a tough guy to get along with. And that the New York media is everywhere. And they are watching every move when you're a superstar. And if you fail here, they're going to get on you. The fans are going to get on you. The media is going to get on you, especially if you're making a lot of money. This is why you'll never hear Aaron Judge get booed. It don't matter what the hell. He had a terrible – if he had that that just hit the pitch right in the back. And it goes to second for the out. Crazy. Aaron Judge had a bad game. He struck out 4 times. Got caught stealing against the Orioles. Now, if he did that in New York, they wouldn't boo him.
Right.
They'd kind of be like, oh, well, okay, that sucked, but whatever. But if Stanton does it, all over him. Same thing with Jeter. They did boo him when he was 0 for 32 when he started. I forgot what year that was. 2004, 2005. He started at 0 for 32 and they were getting on him a little bit. But Jeter could go on a prolonged slump for the most part. They never boo him.
Right.
A-Rod goes 0 for 4 and you're done.
Right.
Boo the hell out of A-Rod. It's like everything that they hated about is looking out at Alex Rodriguez. And same thing with some of the pitchers. Randy Johnson caught that treatment. You're going to catch that, especially the pitchers. The pitchers will hear it more than anything else. Kenny Rogers couldn't pitch here. Randy Johnson couldn't pitch here.
I'm thinking about. You're making me think about because you're talking fly ball pitcher, homegrown guy, and a Met I hated that I forgot, Mike Pelfrey. Oh. Big Pelf. Oh, I couldn't stand him. He was supposed to be this ace, and he sucked. He was
Didn't he throw a no-hitter after he left the Mets? Was it Pelfrey or was it another?
No, that was
with the White Sox.
It was a former Met. They traded him.
Oh, Phil Humber. Was it Humber?
Who? Yeah. Yes. Phil Humber. Yes. That was. I think they traded him in the. I can't remember what trade it was. Was it the? I can't remember, but it was for a pitcher. But I can't remember who. I
see a couple guys. Roy Halladay is another really dominant pitcher, too. I see Joe Lutz's Roy Halladay.
How about the jersey I got on? Johan Santana.
Oh, God, yeah, for the Twins.
Yeah.
He was on. That guy, I don't know if I've ever seen a pitcher have a bigger differential on his fastball than his changeup. His changeup was like 75. His fastball was 97. He was ridiculous.
Yeah,
his stuff was ridiculous. The no-hitter that the Mets finally got ruined his career.
Yeah,
I remember I had him on my fantasy team that year. He threw 140 some odd pitches, I think, to throw the no-hitter. The next game he played the Yankees, I sat him. I said, no way. I said, this guy's got nothing left. The Yankees hit like 6 homers off of him in 3 innings. It was stupid. He gave him like 11 runs in 2 innings. And I knew from that they ruined him. They ruined his career to get that no-hitter. I remember that because he just ridiculous amount of pitches.
Yeah.
Good enough the Mets threw a no-hitter. Umber threw, a lot of guys left the Mets and do no-hitters. It was crazy.
Yeah, there's ton. I mean,
Seaver.
Yeah, I was going to say Seaver did it. Nomo, is that who you just said, Nomo?
Did Nomo leave the Mets and then throw no-hitters? Nomo did a couple no-hitters.
I think he did. He did it with the Rockies. I don't know if that was before or after the Mets.
He did it with the Red Sox, too.
Yeah. So, Nomo, that's a funny guy. I mean, when he first came up, that guy was fun with the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Have I asked you that trivia question? I ask it all the time. The 5 Dodgers who won Rookie of the Year in a row in the 90s?
Karros was, I don't know them in order. Piazza, Karros, Nomo. Oh, God, then I lose it. Oh, Jesus. I don't know the last 2.
Hollinsworth?
Oh, I never got Todd Hollinsworth.
And this one you're going to say, I should have got this. Raul Mondesi.
Oh yeah, I always forget he was a Dodger because he was he was a Yankee too. But yeah, I would Mondesi I should have known, but Todd Holland I would have never gotten Todd Holland ever. I would have never gotten him. Who's the Yank fan? Who's I think he's asking the chat. I was going to say, I think you can tell by looking at us.
Yeah. That'll probably tell you. Chris, do you remember? Masato Yoshii, of course. He was on that 99 team, Yoshi. He pitched, if I'm not mistaken, I think he pitched game 1 in the NLDS, Yoshi, because they had to play the play-in game against the Reds because they tied for the wild card, and I think Alfonso had like 2 home runs in that game, and they beat the Reds, and then they went on to beat the Diamondbacks in the DS.
Texas Liberty says, should we reinstate Pete Rose? Absolutely. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, and I guarantee you after he passes away, they'll put him in there.
Roy Oswald's another good one, Joe Lutz. Roy Oswald's another good one. Cliff Lee, another good one.
Yeah, Cliff Lee was good for a couple of years there. I mean,
Sabathia.
I mean, Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart won 20 games 4 years in a row for the A's.
Yeah, how about Sabathia?
Sabathia was very good with the Indians. Bartolo Colon, when he first came up, the guy with a fireballer. That had to be one of your favorite Mets moments.
Oh, yeah.
Colon jacking the home run.
There's a lot of funny Colon, the behind-the-back throw. I mean, there's a lot of great Colon. I mean, that is one guy, and somebody said he was underrated, and that was a good call when we were talking about underrated Mets from 9 to now. Bartolo Colon was very underrated, and he was a good pitcher. I think he won 15 games 2 years in a row when he was like 40-something years old as a Met. But and he was an innings eater, which was important, and he was a good mentor for the younger pitchers, even though he took steroids. But Colon just brought that. He was one of those guys that was great for the clubhouse. Like he brought the smiles and the camaraderie.
Oh, of course.
And,
he was a Yankee too.
And Colon was just one of those guys, a great teammate, great clubhouse guy. And that was actually a good call. He probably would be in my top 3 underrated Mets. Now that I thought about it. And that was one of Sandy's only good free agent signings. And when he signed him, I was furious. Because he was an older pitcher. It was a pretty big contract at the time. I think it was like 4 years, $44 million, something like that. And which was a lot, And I wasn't a big fan of the move, but it worked out. And Granderson was actually a pretty good Met. That 15 team, Granderson was their best player, before they got Cespedes. But Granderson was the MVP of that team. He had his great year that year. And
I'm sorry.
No, those were a couple of good signings. And, of course, a former great Yankee, Granderson.
Yeah, he says Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was a dominant pitcher, but by the time I watched him, he was near the end of his career, so I didn't see him in the 70s. I was just talking about guys that I saw. I mean, I still think he threw 3 no-hitters that I saw. It was crazy. Threw a no-hitter against the Blue Jays like in 1990. He's like 45 years old, striking out like 15 guys, throwing a no-hitter. He was ridiculous. Should Joe Jackson be in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely, has the second highest batting average career behind Ty Cobb. I think he hit 358 or 356. It's one of those, and he should be in the Hall of Fame because that whole Black Sox scandal. Shoeless Joe Jackson was illiterate. He didn't know what he was reading. He didn't know what he was. And if you look at his stat, he wasn't even in on it. He hit like 400 in that series, so it had nothing to do. He played very well. He was not in on it, but he signed something and. Who knows? I don't know the exact story about it. I've never actually read the book. I just watched.
You ever watched the movie? You did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good movie.
It was. So he should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
Sandy Koufax was a Jew, and Chad Warden says, "Should Zion be in Cooperstown?" Yes, he should, Chad. Oral Hershiser was a dominant pitcher. Good call.
He threw, I think he has the record, right? 59 and a third scoreless innings in a row. Yep. It was something ridiculous like that. Mike Marina says, what was it like watching Whitey Ford pitch? I ain't that old. But
you think he's the greatest Yankee pitcher ever? Other than Mariano?
Yeah. I do. 236 and 106 is a pretty solid record. I don't know any other.
It's just funny.
Guidry could have been, but Guidry got injured at the end of his career, and he fell off real fast.
It's just funny, and he's a great pitcher, obviously, Whitey Ford. But you would think with their history, they would have had a better greatest pitcher ever. Obviously, they have all the great.
Never had a 300-game winner.
Yeah.
At all. I think Andy Pettitte is their all-time. I think he is the all-time winningest pitcher, like most wins, not best record, but it's crazy. You would also think that they would have had a guy that had 3,000 hits, and until Jeter did it, they never had that guy.
That's crazy.
Garrick didn't do it. Babe Ruth didn't do it. Mantle didn't do it. DiMaggio didn't do it. And then none of them did it. None of the greatest Yankees. Yogi Berra didn't do it. None of those guys even had 3,000 hits in their career. Even Babe Ruth, he didn't have 3,000 hits in his career. So
I didn't know that about Babe Ruth. I would have thought he would have for sure.
No, he didn't have.
He walked a lot, probably.
Well, he was a pitcher at the beginning of his career.
That too, of course,
that took away from his at-bats. But, yeah, I mean, there's only a few guys in the history of baseball have 3,000 hits and 500 homers.
And Rafael Palmeiro is one of them.
Palmeiro, Eddie Murray, who was one of the most underrated players in the history of baseball. No one ever gives Eddie Murray credit. He was a phenomenal hitter.
How about Frank Robinson? That's an underrated player.
Yes, 2 Triple Crowns.
Yeah.
He won one Triple Crown. He won MVP in each league. Yeah, Frank Robinson. I mean, there's a lot of underrated hitters. I think Stan Musial is probably the most underrated hitter in the history of freaking baseball. That guy was such a freaking hit. Nobody talks about Stan Musial as the greatest hitter. He had 336 with 475 homers in his career. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Playboy Dilly, my man. He brought up the London Marathon, April 28th, 2019. Sorry if it's inappropriate for this specific stream, but you know me. I know you're a numbers guy.
He's the numbers guy.
I wonder if you ever heard me talk about Daniel Jones, Playboy. I don't know if you've been in the chat when I mentioned the Daniel Jones thing, how he plays at Duke, and Dave Brown played at Duke, and Dave Brown was number 17, and they're talking about how at number 17 the Giants are going to take Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones wears number 17. Okay? Kylo Lauletta's number 17. 17's bad luck for the Giants. Except for, what's his face? I guess Jeff Rutledge.
Well, how about Plaxico Burress?
Yeah, he shot himself in the leg. It's a bad number for the Giants.
He did help us win a Super Bowl, though, but yeah.
Yes, it's a bad number for the Giants.
I always wanted to do this at the Enterainah Baddog. Stand up! I think he wants us to stand up, but Mike, I don't stand up. I tell you to stand up.
But I am going to go stand up because I got to go hit the latrine, and I'll be right back.
All right. Babe Ruth killed a gypsy in between innings. I did not know that. That's crazy if that's true. Yes, he did. Dwayne. Yes, he was, Raphael. Good call there. Wasn't very good, but yes, he was. Tim Lincecum, Joel. That's another good, great pitcher for about a 4-year stretch. I think he won 3 Cy Youngs, 2 or 3 Cy Youngs for the Giants. One of the funniest deliveries you'll ever see. Him and El Duque, probably 2 of the funkiest deliveries I've ever seen. You figure you try it. Did Babe Ruth put a curse on the Cubs? No. Put a curse on the Red Sox. They traded him for, if the story is correct, if I remember, the owner of the Red Sox at the time needed money for like a play. There's something to do with like a play that he owned, and he traded him for money to the Yankees. And maybe Bad Dog's going to know the story better than me because he's a Yankee fan, but I think that's the story, and they didn't win after that. And then, of course, Dontrell Willis, yeah, good call.
I got a good story about Babe Ruth. So he was a Yankee captain for 5 days. They named him captain 5 days because, thank you so much for the super chat there, Sperm Cell. Dilly, I got to fill my glass up. He says Boban Marjanovic should be in the. I agree. He definitely should be a.
What is with this Boban Marjanovic? I don't get it.
I don't know. He's just catching. It's kind of like when they would call up. I guess we got guys like when they call up Francesa and use the Jason Giambi thing as a troll job. I guess Boban Marjanovic has become our Mike Francesa, Jason Giambi. I guess. I don't know.
Right.
But it's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
So Babe Ruth was named captain. 5 days later, he gets called out at second base on a steal. He gets mad, throws dirt in the umpire's eyes, and then somebody says something to him on the way back to the dugout. He goes up in the stands and gets in a fight. So they revoked his captaincy from the. This is Babe Ruth in a nutshell right there.
So he was never captain again?
Nope, 5 days.
I didn't know that.
There's only been a few Yankee captains. I don't know them all off the top of my head. I mean, I can name a few.
Well, Jeter,
Munson, Roger Peckinpah. I don't think they had a captain after Munson. Well, no, Willie Randolph and Gidger were co-captains.
I met Joe Pepitone.
I
worked for Ace Hardware when I was a kid. I was like 18, 19, 20 years old, and he lives in Massapequa, Long Island, right where where I lived, and I didn't know it. And I see the work order. I get to his house and it says Joe Pepitone. I'm like, this can't be Joe Pepitone. And I knock on the door. He comes out with his Yankee hat, and sure enough, it's Joe Pepitone. I assemble his outdoor furniture for his house.
Did he have the hot comb?
I don't remember. I don't think
so. Joe Pepitone was one of the first players ever to bring the hot comb and the blow dryer into the locker room.
Really?
Because he was so concerned about his hair.
I didn't know that. He had nice hair still when I saw him.
Oh, he's got the moss. He's a good old Italian guy. The Yankees are loaded with Italian guys. That's another reason I probably love them. They had all the Irish and Italian.
Yeah.
My kid's Irish Italian, so maybe he'll be a Yankee someday.
There you go.
Two, I mean, he's got a gun, Chris. This kid gets mad and he chucks things like I chucked that football.
Yeah, maybe
he whips that thing.
I'm like, you think be a pitcher?
I would love it. I don't think he'll ever play in the majors, but God, I hope he just plays Little League baseball. That'd be good enough for me.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll be a thrill.
Yeah.
Hell no, Babe would suck today. He was a fat tub of lard. Well, he probably wouldn't be a fat tub of lard today, though, to be fair. But, yeah, if he was built like that, he probably wouldn't be in the major leagues.
Well, I mean, Prince Fielder was pretty fat, and he was pretty awesome.
You're right.
I don't know what physique has to do with anything as far as hitting the ball goes. I've talked about this before. You could be the most jacked guy there is. I look at a guy like Gabe Kapler, who was on covers of fitness magazines, and he had no power because he had no bat speed, he had no hip torque. He had no wrist. I mean, it's all in your wrists. Mickey Mantle was just a naturally strong guy to hit the ball 600 feet because he had strong forms. Mike Piazza had ridiculously strong form.
That guy is fucking built.
So this is Alfonso Soriano. Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron was a wiry dude that hit 750.
Well, Guerrero was a wiry guy. He didn't have muscles.
So,
yeah.
I mean, the guys back in the 80s, they were not built the way they are today. Not close.
They didn't work out.
They
didn't work out, which is why there's probably not as many. It wasn't as many injuries back then. Now the muscles are tighter. Look at Cespedes; he's all wound up, and
So I don't think Babe Ruth being fat had anything to do with anything. I mean, it's just and who knows how he would have been. I think Adam Ottavino said he could strike Babe Ruth out every time he faced him.
It's so hard to judge era to era because it's completely different games. I mean, Babe Ruth back then hit more home runs than teams. I mean, it's just completely different. And Griffey, by the way, Daniel Cutter says, Griffey, since I've been watching the sport, when he was in his prime, at his best, is the greatest player I've ever seen. That's how special to me.
He's up there. He's definitely up there. The other thing you got to realize with the home runs back then, the parks weren't 370 feet to the gaps. That old Yankee Stadium, 457 to dead center, 461 to the right center field alley. Yes, the right field was always short. That's why they call it the house that Ruth built, because that was built for him, that short porch from right. But you hit the ball there, it's 460 feet to dead center.
Yeah,
the parks were not boxes like they are now.
They used to have Monument Park within the field of play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were in play.
Yeah.
You didn't have the Camden Yards where it's 370 to 364 to the power alley. You didn't have Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia where you can break a bat and hit the ball out of it.
Ryan Howard, I still get pissed off. Remember Ryan Howard? He would just flick his wrist, pop it right over the left field there, opposite field. But I mean, that's to me what is one of the most unique things about baseball is each field is completely different. It's a different element, the dimensions, the ballpark. Where in other sports, it's all the same. I mean, it's 100 yards, but you know what I'm saying? So that to me is one of the more special things about baseball, where every stadium and teams build their teams that way. Like the Rockies build their teams around speed because they have a bigger outfield because of the thin air.
Right.
They have a lot of guys with speed on that team historically. Because of that, Yankees, obviously, they build their team around left-handed power hitters. Red Sox build their team around right-handed power hitters because of the monster.
Not right now, we don't. We got no lefty on the damn
team. Historically.
They're all righties.
Yeah, historically. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your Tinos, your O'Neills, your...
Bernie, switch hitter.
Bernie was a switch hitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, they always had a good mixture of lefties and righties.
Giambi.
Imagine if Judge or Stanton or Nelson Cruz played a course. Yeah, I mean... But the thing is, those guys are so strong that they don't even need the light air.
They are terrible. No, I'm just talking about historically. They build their team around speed. The Rockies.
Jim Thome was. I'll tell you a story about Jim Thome. Back in the early 90s, it had to be 91. Had to be 91, somewhere there, 91, 92. We were playing the Albany. The Yankees used to have their Double-A team in Albany, New York. So I go down there once in a while, and I remember Jim Thome played for Canton Akron. He came up, and I remember seeing his name on the board, and I didn't listen to the way it was announced. And I'm just like Jim Thome. That's all I remember thinking. It was Thome.
I thought the same thing the first time I saw his name.
No one knew how to say his name. So Jim Thome comes up. Really tall, skinny kid. And I swear to God, when he hit the ball the first time, it sounded like a cannon went off. I never heard a crack of a bat that loud in my life, because in Heritage Park, you could walk around the field. I mean, you were right on the field. It's not like Yankee Stadium where I was a mile away. So
Right.
you were right behind a dugout, right behind home plate, where you walking around. It's just a small ballpark. That thing just echoed like you wouldn't believe. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Next at bat, same thing. And I swear to God, with the second one, when he hit it right over the dead center field fence, too, I swear to God, the ball was still rising as it went out of the park. He had the most ridiculous bat speed and power that I ever watched in that stadium. I never heard, I just, to this day, I've ever heard a ball.
The fast, well, Piazza, it used to be a big crack off the bat. But the fastest, the fastest bat speed, got to be Gary Sheffield. I mean, that guy's bat speed was great.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to time it. I think he had the fastest bat speed, and the way he was able to do that, and he had tremendous bat speed. Gary Sheffield.
You know, another one, and he was a Met, and he played it like he was 1,000. It was Julio Franco. Had that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That.
Yeah.
How he got around on pitches inside. Crazy, because Julio Franco was a really good player.
Oh, great player.
Not you Rangers.
Borderline Hall of Famer. Fred McGriffin, another great borderline
Fred
Hall of Famer.
should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the crime dog.
Yep.
Okay, Delgado to me is a guy I cannot believe. To me, that is one. I'm not saying he should be a Hall of Famer, but the fact he got no consideration is a disgrace. He had, I think, 10 straight years of 30 and 100. He had 473 career home runs, and he was off on the first year of the ballot. How does that make any sense?
I don't know. You know who else was off in the first year of the ballot, and I was surprised, was Jorge Posada.
Yeah.
Guy won 5 championships. He had 275 homers as a catcher. He was a catcher his whole career. He never played first base. He had 270. You know, he drove in over 1,000 runs. He had 400 doubles. And I'm like, how does he go off immediately?
Yeah.
Well, it's just, I mean, I'm not saying Posada's a Hall of Famer, but
should have got more consideration.
Hall of Famer, but to go off immediately, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That he went off immediately like that. Thoughts on Canseco? Listen, Canseco in his day, he was the guy that he's the guy that introduced steroids to baseball. I mean, he is. It's funny, I go back and look at the 89 World Series, and Reggie Jackson actually asks him about that. I don't even remember him bringing the steroid thing up, because he was always speculation that he took them, and he lied and said he didn't. And he was a really exciting ball player, but he's a complete douchebag. And even though everything he said was right, every guy he said was taking steroids took steroids, because he was a jealous, idiot or whatever.
He did it for money.
Right. I mean, he wanted money. And, he has a YouTube channel. I don't think he posts on anymore. But he talks about steroids. He says they're good for you. He has a channel. By the way, A-Rod has a channel, too. I actually just hit the big red button for A-Rod.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got a channel on YouTube. So does Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've been a supporter of him for a while.
Andrew Jones for Hall of Fame. I mean, Andrew Jones is a great player, and he's probably going to make the Hall of Fame because of how good of a fielder he was. One of my most hated players ever, though. I used to hate Andrew Jones. But
Andrew Jones, if I'm not mistaken, is one of 2 players in the history of baseball to win more than 10 Gold Gloves and hit more than 400 homers.
No, he's a great player. Yeah, he's a great player.
2 guys. Willie Mays is the other one.
He's gonna make the Hall of Fame.
But he's only a 254 hitter. I think that may hurt him.
Yeah, well, same thing with Torrey Hunter. Not the same offensive player, but great fielder. Hit for about a 250 average. One player that, because we're talking about center fielders, again, not saying he should be in the Hall of Fame, but should have gotten a lot more consideration. Jim Edmonds.
Yeah, Jim Edmonds was very good. Yeah, he was a very good player.
Unbelievable defensive player.
But not a Hall of Famer.
But a guy that I think should have got more than 1 year of consideration.
Maybe. I don't know about him.
I liked him.
The only reason I say it with Posada is because you look at the catching position. There's not a lot of great hitting catchers.
Yeah.
There really isn't. I mean, Piazza was special. But other than that, the modern day catcher, Ivan Rodriguez. And there was always speculation he took the steroids.
He did. They both did.
But he got into the Hall of Fame.
They both took steroids. They might not got caught, but they both did.
What I want Joey Gallo. See, that's the other thing, LA Yankee King. Joey Gallo is another, just a big, strong left-hand strikeout. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I don't like, just like I dislike Joey Gallo, but we have so many of those guys on there.
Mr. Calculus, I completely agree with you, but it's the same reason that we're talking about a lot of these players. He definitely probably took steroids, but he was a jerk. Albert Bell, everybody knows it. But yeah, he hit the most. He hit the most home runs and the most RBIs in the 1990s. You're absolutely right. He was the best power hitter in the 90s. He had 50 home runs in 95 for the Indians. He got caught with the cork bat. Remember that? I think Sosa did too. I don't
think he got caught with a cork bat. I think they thought his bat was corked and he gave him one of these to the Red Sox and said, "That's my cork." Maybe he did.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought he got caught with a cork, Albert Bell.
He might have. In 1995, he hit 50 homers and 50 doubles. And it was a strike-shortened season because they didn't start at the beginning of the year. I think he played 140 games and he did that.
Insane.
Albert Bell was insanely good.
Another great one, Jeff Bagwell. He won the MVP in '94, the strike-shortened year.
Yeah, he did. He hit 60 or 30. And Tony Gwynn was hitting 394 that year.
Yeah, and I think Mo Vaughn was the other MVP that year, if I'm not mistaken, for the Red Sox.
94 was just too bad. Matt Williams, he had a lot of homers. I think he had 52 homers when they brought. I mean, there was a lot of records that could have fallen that year. Bagwell was going after the Triple Crown. Gwynn was going after 400, and Williams was going after the home run.
I didn't realize Williams hit 52 home runs that year.
Maybe it was 47. Maybe he had 47 homers. He had a lot of homers, and they still had quite a few games to play, so he was closing in on it. But that's the one thing about the steroids that, people can say these guys. They can, say they cheated. They can discredit them all they want. But the fact of the matter is, Bud Selig knew that was going on. Bud Selig didn't care that was going on.
It was good for the game.
Yeah. Money back for the game, and that nothing gave baseball its money back and got fans back there like that 98 home run chase. And Selig knew they were on steroids. He didn't care. Then at the end of his tenure, he's trying to clean up baseball. The guy's a scrub as far as I'm concerned.
Somebody asked me about, I love Moises Alou, Jose Reyes, by the way, but, Beltran, Mike Nixon asked. I like Beltran a lot. He's actually, and I know the famous Wainwright curveball, and he struck out, but Beltran delivered as a Met as far as I'm concerned, and most big-name free agents don't when they come to the Mets, and he did. In 06, he would have won the MVP award. He would have been the first Met ever to win the MVP, and he fell apart the last 20 games of the year. But for the first 140 games of that season, Carlos Beltran was far and away the MVP in baseball. He was that good that year. I remember a game against Houston. He ran up the hill, and he had a game-winning home run in the same game. He made a diving catch up the hill. Carlos Beltran in 06, probably the best individual season I've ever seen a Met have. That's how good he was in 06. That includes Piazza. He was phenomenal. His first year was rocky in 05. But overall, Carlos Beltran was a great Met. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's probably going to go in as a Met.
Yeah. You think he's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
He's been on the ballot, hasn't he, or no? I don't know.
No, not yet, I don't think. He might not make it on the first ballot, but when you look at his numbers and consider that he's a great all-around player, Gold Glover, top 3 or 4, probably definitely a top 5 switch hitter who ever played. Yeah, I think Beltran's a Hall of Famer.
Delano says it made the game more exciting with hitting the home run. Well, yeah, but that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. But nowadays they home runs are down, I guess. But they still hit homers. They just strike out a lot more than they used to. And I don't care. I'll tell you, best player I ever saw. I don't care. It takes steroids. It was Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer without the steroids. Barry Bonds was the best player in baseball before the steroids, and he saw Sosa and McGwire getting all this attention, and they both stunk without the steroids. McGwire's not a Hall of Famer. And McGwire stunk.
Well, let's be fair. And by the way, Bobby, I did not see Mr. Softy today. I always likes to ask that question. And Bonds was great. You're absolutely right. He's a Hall of Famer without the steroids. Same thing with Clemens. A Hall of Famer. Well, Clemens is debatable because Clemens kind of fell off, and then with the Blue Jays, he just boom. But Bonds is definitely a Hall of Famer without the steroids, and but I don't think he's the best player I've ever seen before the steroids. I thought Griffey was better before.
Oh no! I'm saying he was a great player before the steroids.
Oh, okay, yeah.
After the steroids, forget it. Yeah, I never saw more. The guy had video game numbers. I never saw anything more dominant in my life than that guy.
Yeah, he was immortal.
He said, "These guys stink. I'm great. Nobody's paying attention to me. Let me take. Let's get on an even playing field.
That's what happened.
And forget. The guy was hitting 370. He walked 230 times. He got intentionally walked with the bases loaded. He was hitting 46 homers, like 240 plate. It was stupid.
And you know where I think it started? And I don't know if you said this because I was looking at the chat. Remember the home run derby? I think it was in 97 or 98. It was the year that McGwire.
Yeah.
And I remember Bonds was in that. And he commented on how big McGwire and Sosa were, and then he started taking steroids. I remember after he took the steroids, I remember that moment. He was talking about how big they were and how jacked they were. So maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he saw.
I told you he was jealous. Bonds is an egomaniac. You ever see Barry Bonds now? He's tiny.
Yeah. No, he definitely took steroids.
Oh yeah. He'll never admit it, but he never tested positive for him.
All pitchers pitched around him. Yeah, they walked him with the bases loaded. Barry Bonds.
Yep.
They walked the running. Right. It was at a point in the game where I think there was 2 outs. I think with they were down 3 runs, and Bonds came up with the bases loaded, and rather than pitch to him, they walked him. That's how good he was when he took the steroids.
Yeah, he was ridiculous.
They walked in a run. Imagine that. They walked in a run rather than pitch to him.
On purpose.
No,
it's not a chase. It's not like they pitched to him. Just take it.
The catcher stood up and he said, pitch 4 balls outside. They said, take the run. We don't want to pitch to him.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth, Raphael, is the greatest.
Yeah, Babe Ruth, definitely. Well, that's not... Because, like I said, what Babe Ruth did in 1927, Bonds would have had to have hit 140 homers to do what Ruth did in 27 when he hit 60.
Yeah. And Mike Nixon says, is Ichiro Hall of Famer? 100%.
Oh, God, Ichiro's first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
First ballot. He's got over 3,000 hits. He started his career late.
One of the best pure hitters of all time.
And a great fielder. And fast as hell.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be probably top 5 pure hitter since I've been watching the sport.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Tony Gwynn maybe the best since I've been watching.
I think Tony Gwynn. I think Tony Gwynn's the best pure hitter I ever saw. That guy was unbelievable. Another one of my. I loved Tony Gwynn. He's unbelievable hitter.
Yeah. Babe Ruth is definitely the greatest. How could you not? I mean, St. John, I'm a Met fan. I don't know who you are, but how could you not say Babe Ruth is the greatest ever? I mean, the guy had more home runs than teams. I mean, he's the most dominant athlete ever in any sport during that time period. I don't even think it's a debate. Could you imagine a player hitting more home runs than teams in today's game? Like, you'd have to hit like 250 home runs or something.
Crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. That's why Pedro's stint in the late 90s is unbelievable, because he pitched in the steroid era and they still couldn't touch him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that All-Star game, he struck every one of those steroid guys out in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony Barras says, we just saw one, 6-7 years ago? Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown. So, yeah, I think it will happen again.
Yeah, Christian Yelich almost did it last year.
I think a better question is, could somebody ever hit 400 again? I think that's a better question.
Impossible. Never.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen.
You'll never see that, bro. You'll never see that happening.
Well,
You'll never see
I won't say never. I think DiMaggio's never. 400 has to be perfect circumstances. It has to be the best hitter in the game, or one of the top 5 hitters in the game, playing in Coors Field. If that were to happen, I give him a chance.
I don't give any of them a chance. Because Nolan Arenado is one of the best players in baseball. He ain't going to come close to hitting 400.
Not outside Coors Field, he's not.
He's not coming close. It's impossible to do. The hitters don't walk. They don't walk enough to hit 400. Yeah. If anyone was going to hit 400, it would have been Ichiro, in my opinion. That was the guy I thought had a really outside chance of doing it.
You know who came close on the Rockies? Todd Helton.
Because another guy, they'd have to be extremely fast to get infield hits on top of it.
Todd Helton had a few years where he challenged it.
He hit 372 one year.
Yeah, with the Rockies. And
There's another guy that's a borderline Hall of Famer.
Larry Walker, too, with the Rockies. Had a couple years.
Both of those guys had some incredible freaking seasons.
Yeah.
Mike Trout is playing baseball now. He still strikes out 180 to 200 times a year.
Mike Trout's he might be better than Griffey. He might be better than Griffey. That's how good he is. Tim Lincecum's pitching was ridiculous. I mean, the way you talking about his
God, he was good too. There's another guy that was
Joe Lutz mentioned him earlier. Yeah, 4 years he was as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Daddy Juan.
This is the thing. When people say Babe Ruth played against bad competition or played at a different era, you look at the guys in your era, and they all played against the same competition, and nobody dominated like Babe Ruth.
And exactly. And Delano, no, neither one of those hitters are. Harper's not even a 300 hitter, and Trout.
One year did.
Yeah, but he's more like a 280 guy, and Trout is like maybe a 310, 315 guy. They're not. It needs it to be like Baddog said, a fast guy. It's got to be Reyes, but better. That type of player.
To answer Mike Nixon, yes, I love Hideki Matsui. He was one of the most clutch guys I've ever seen in my life. Every time he came up in a big spot, he got a hit. Seemed like it.
Well, that World Series, the run in '09.
Yeah, he had 13 at-bats and 8 RBIs.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
3 homers, and he destroyed Pedro. He had 6 RBIs off Pedro in the last game. So he owned Pedro. Never saw a guy own Pedro like Matsui owned Pedro. Of course, Pedro was near the end of his career at that point. But
I guess that's a fair argument St. John makes. He says he didn't play against any black players or foreign players. That's a fair argument, but he was just so dominant.
But neither did anybody else in that era.
That's true, too. They all played against the same, and he dominated it.
Yeah, he didn't play against it. Well, Hank Aaron came up young anyway. I mean, by then, but yeah, he didn't play against the Josh Gibsons. He didn't play against the Satchel Pages in his career. I mean, I get it. But like I said, none of the other guys played against him either, and they couldn't do what Babe Ruth did.
Josh Gibson, I would have liked, because you read the stories. I mean, that guy was a legend in the Negro League. And I remember hearing that he might have hit a ball out of Yankee Stadium. I think he hit the furthest home run ever in Yankee Stadium history. I could be wrong on that. You're a Yankee fan. You probably know better than me.
Well, I think Mantle did. Mantle was 585. It hit the top of the light tower.
Gibson, it wasn't a major league game, I think.
Well, maybe he hit it out of the Yankee Stadium. That's never been done. Nobody ever hit a ball clip at Yankee Stadium. Maybe that's sort of. I don't know how far Gibson hit it. Like, I didn't hear the thing. I just know Mantle was the guy that I hear anyway.
Yeah. Most exciting. What was the question?
Sexy or Jeremy? Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Dyer Giants. Dilly, my man.
Dilly.
Thank you so much. Jeremy Hansman says, "Remember John Maine?"
Oh, John Maine. Yeah. That's another very, very, very mediocre pitcher for the Mets. He had a couple of decent years, and they kept him around too long. Fernando Rodney switches to. Fernando Rodney. I saw him. You mentioned earlier how he wore his hat to the side. Rodney. Yeah, he's the player that's known for that.
I hate Fernando Rodney.
Yeah, I'm not a big Rodney guy either. How he celebrates with the whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
It's stupid. Yeah, this is the guy that'll be up 7-2 and he'll give up 4 runs and win 7-6. I'm like, are you kidding me? You just got your ass kicked.
Yeah. And
you're gonna celebrate? You should be thankful you got a job. Hated him. Oliver Perez. I think the Yankees actually had Oliver Perez at one point, and he never pitched for us, so he was bad. But Oli Perez was pretty good.
Who?
Oliver Perez.
Oh God, not with the Mets. I mean, he had one decent year. No, the first year we got him, he was solid, and then the Mets signed him to a big extension. He was one of the worst contracts in Met history.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Nationals, I think, and came out of the bullpen as a lefty reliever, and he pitched well. But Perez. Oh, Perez and Castillo.
Walked a lot of hitters.
Yeah. Oh God, Perez. Oh, Perez.
What's Yankee and Met? For me, I think it's Hideki Matsui. He was extremely clutch. I mean, Paul O'Neill was a very clutch hitter. Yankees had a lot of clutch hitters. Bernie was extremely clutch.
Yeah,
that's laugh when they say Jeter's Captain Clutch. If you look at Jeter's numbers in the postseason as opposed to his regular season, they're very similar.
Yeah.
A clutch player to me exceeds his regular season numbers.
Right.
Like Eli Manning in the playoffs exceeds his regular season numbers.
Yeah.
That's a clutch player.
Yeah.
Paul O'Neill, guys like that, Bernie Williams, they exceed their regular season numbers. Jeter's right about the same.
Yeah, Jeter was great. Just a great player. But I think Cushman, I don't know if he's trying to correct me, I never said that Perez pitched out of the bullpen for the Mets. I said he pitched out of the bullpen for the Nationals after he left. He started for the Mets, and he sucked. He was good his first year, or first half season when they acquired him, and after that, he was actually great. Perez pitched Game 7 against the Cardinals, the game in which Andy Chavez made the catch, which kind of saved him a bit, but he pitched great in that game. He kept him in the game, and then the bullpen blew it. But no, Perez started for the Mets, and he got a big contract. They ended up paying him and Castillo stupid money, and they were both two of the most hated Mets in recent history.
Yeah. I think Ali Perez did come out of the bullpen for the Yankees. Yeah, I know he was a Yankee. He was hurt for most of it, but I think he had a cup of coffee with us. It wasn't a lot, but who's your favorite? I think I've asked you this before. Edgardo Alfonso is your favorite man of all time.
Him and Reyes, but Alfonso. I watch the Mets every day. I don't watch the Yankees every day. I don't watch anybody every day. I might catch 8-10 Yankee games a year, if that. Clutchest hitter I've ever seen on a day in, day out basis. Edgardo Alfonso, I've never seen a hitter on the Mets, because that's the team I watch, that can fall behind 0-2 and fight back into a count as good as he could. 0-2, fouls up a pitch, he'd foul up 12 pitches, get back in the count, line a single. He was money. Alfonso was money for 4 years with the Mets. Loved him.
That was that entire Yankee dynasty.
Yeah.
Do an account, work it back to 3-2, get a hit. Every freaking one of those guys.
I'll tell you that bat.
Bernie Williams was a very clutch hitter for the Yankees too. Bernie Williams was.
Bernie Williams is my favorite Yankee ever. I love Bernie Williams.
Yeah, Bernie is great.
But a famous at bat actually. We're talking about fouling off pitches. Sean Dunston with the Mets in '99 at the Grand Slam single game. He must have fouled off 15 pitches. Must have fouled off 15. It was the greatest at bat I've ever seen a Met have. It was like a 20 pitch at bat, and he ended up getting on and allowed Vendor to win that game.
Ramirez, best RBI hitter of all time. See, I think Lou Gehrig is the best RBI hitter of all time. Lou Gehrig had almost 2,000 RBIs, and his career was cut short.
In recent history, I'll agree that it's Manny Ramirez. Since I've been watching, I would agree it's Manny Ramirez. Did I like K-Rod? No, he sucked. He sucked as a Met.
Yeah. What was going on? What else? Remember when Soriano played for the Cubs? Soriano was a great Yankee. Soriano was a very good player for the Yankees. Swung that outside slider a little bit too damn much, but he was a very exciting player. Very exciting. 40-40 guy. The only natural 40-40 guy in the history of baseball. When I say natural, it means he didn't take PEDs.
Yeah.
Only guy to do it. Bonds did it, steroids. Canseco did it, steroids. A-Rod did it, steroids.
Good point.
Soriano, no steroids, 40-40.
Well, we don't know. Hopefully didn't.
And he came close to the Yankees. He hit 39 homers and stole 46 bases or something.
I think Guerrero was close too. I think he had a year where he hit
same year. It was the same year. They both missed by one home run.
Yeah.
Same year.
And Jose Reyes asked, have we ever watched, let's go over that real quick, baseball movies in general, but he asked, have we watched Angels in the Outfield as kids? I've seen Angels in the Outfield. My favorite baseball movie ever is Field of Dreams, but Rookie of the Year was a fun movie. I'm trying to think of The Natural's great. Sandlot's fun movie. I'm trying to think of other great. Definitely Field of Dreams is my favorite for me. What about you?
Angels in the Outfield. I saw it every time, and every time I see a crescent moon, I always take the little kids thing and I say it's God's thumbnail. Because he says that. He says, look, it's God's thumbnail.
Right.
I always say it's God's thumbnail. I got that from that movie.
Wait, what was the movie? Oh, Little Big League's another one. Where he's the general manager of the Twins.
Of the Twins, yeah. That one. I saw Rookie of the Year. I saw Little Big League. Major League's my favorite.
Major League.
I love Major
How do I forget Major League? Yes, Major League's probably my favorite.
What else? The Natural is very good. See, I know I missed one. See, I don't know if you'd consider Brewster's Millions a baseball movie or not. It kind of revolves around baseball. I wouldn't say it's a baseball movie, but I love Brewster's Millions. Richard Pryor's like a minor league pitcher for the Hackensack Bulls, and he inherits a bunch of money, and he's got to spend it in 30 days to get the real inheritance, and if he doesn't spend it all in 30 days, he gets nothing, and he can't buy any assets, so he has to just blow. Typical 1985 movie. Awesome movie. 42 is a great movie.
42 was very good.
61 was a great movie with the Harrison Mantle thing. That was a great baseball.
You know it's a great movie, and I love it because it's centered around the Mets, but it's not necessarily about baseball. But a lot of it has to do with the '69 Mets. Is Frequency. You ever see Frequency?
I have not seen it. No.
Oh, really cool movie. It's one of my. I love that movie because it's centered around the Mets.
All right, Sports Reaction, aka Stuck in the East. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, man, and. Glad you're back. We'll be looking forward to seeing you around, my man. Dilly, brother.
Dilly. James in the house. What's going on? Popping on. Can you share a cannoli and New York slice with me and beer? Absolutely, Joe Lutz. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Why wouldn't we? That's really all we eat. Pizza and beer. So we stay in shape.
The Fan is I wouldn't say it's the best, but The Fan with De Niro and Snipes. It was a good movie where
that was a good one.
Yeah, where he kidnaps his son.
Yep. Hey, Bobby. Come on, Bobby.
Yeah. De Niro, yeah, come on, Bobby.
Yeah, he gets sick of him. He's just, hey, Bobby. Come on, Bobby.
Yeah, where he murders the guy in the shower. Benicio del Toro. He murders
him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's great.
Entertaining. Even though I heavily dislike the Phillies, I love Jim. Oh, I did not. Are you going to stream some of, if not all, Yanks vs. Mets games? As many as I can. I have a work schedule, but we'll definitely, Would you consider Men in Black a baseball movie? Yes, Bernard Gilkey gets hit in the head by the fly ball in Men in Black. But no, it's not a baseball movie. That's a baseball scene.
Bernard Gilkey. Here's one I haven't heard in a long time.
Oh, those teams. You got Rico Bronya, Bernard Gilkey. Who else was on those teams?
I remember him being a Cardinal. I don't even remember him being a Met.
Bernard Gilkey?
Bernard Gilkey.
Bernard Gilkey had the record for most RBIs ever in a season by the Mets, 123.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No one's ever had more. Piazza never had more than 123.
Piazza, I think he tied it. But Gilkey definitely said it when he was a Met.
I did not know that. If I'm not mistaken, I think another Cardinal has the most RBIs in one game. That was hard-hitting Mark Whitten. He hit 4 homers and drove in 12 runs in one game. I don't remember who the hell it was against.
Do you remember, I think it was over like a week span. It was within 2 weeks. Shawn Green hits 4 home runs, and then Cameron hits 4 home runs. It was in like a 2-week span. They both did 4 home runs in one
Shawn
game.
Green was 6 for 6 in that game, too.
Yeah.
For the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That was another really good hitter, man. Shawn Green could swat, man. He was really good.
Butch Husky, yep. Brian McRae, yep. Now you mentioned
Butch Husky stunk.
Lance Johnson had that one great year in 97, was it? 96?
He was like with the White Sox, Lance Johnson.
Yeah.
Really good.
TJ Rivera, I actually liked TJ Rivera a lot. He got hurt, but he was the type of player I like. Of course, you streaming on Sunday. Sunday, what am I doing? I'm going to be at the Met game Sunday, so maybe I'll do it for like 10 minutes. But no. But maybe after when I get home.
Yeah,
you know,
no stream for me that day. That's a special day for me. So we not streaming on little Baddog's birthday.
Oh, Mike, we were talking about that earlier. Mets Yankees World Series would be the best stream ever.
Yeah, that'd be freaking awesome.
Lance Berkman, there's another great switch hitter. Lance Berkman.
Fat Elvis, that was his nickname.
Yeah, he got big.
Of course, he was a Yankee too. Why not?
Yes.
You know, Henry is deadly.
The greatest I was thinking about, because that was a great team. Those Astros teams that never won a World Series with Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman, the Killer Bees. But I think that A's team is the greatest team I've ever seen not to win. That A's team.
Oh my God, Giambi, both the Giambis.
Damon, Tejada, Chavez.
Jermaine Dye,
Terrence Long, and then the pitching. I mean, Hudson, Mulder, and Zito.
It was ridiculous.
And Isringhausen was a great closer that year.
And they went up 0-2 on the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and that was the infamous Jeter backhanded flip.
Yeah.
That got them. They won that game 1-0, and then they went on to win that, and they went on to beat the 116-win Mariners in 5 games and lost ultimately to the Diamondbacks. But that's one of the most special runs in the playoffs that I saw the Yankees have, because they were really left for dead against Oakland.
Well, that's always the best. I mean, we know as Giants fans, there's nothing better than when you. I mean, obviously it's sweet whenever you win a championship, but especially when it's in that. They didn't win, but when it's in that fashion, when you come 15 for the Mets, it was the same way for me, where you didn't expect it. They were a young team. They got a hot streak just to make the playoffs, and then they went on a run, and it was so exciting. And that to me is the most. If you ever win in that fashion, I mean that beats it.
Well, that's what we had in 2016 or 2017 rather. Was nobody picked to do anything. We weren't picked to do anything, and Aaron Judge comes up. All these kids come up, and they all get red hot, and then they just make it a ridiculous run at it, and took the Astros, the eventual champions, to 7 games, and we just couldn't get it done. There was another one of those rare occurrences where the home team won every game.
Right.
And, the Yankees were up 3-2. They just couldn't.
If Mets Yankees was a World Series, would you stream together, Eric?
Together, absolutely together.
Yeah. What's your least favorite team not in your division? You want me to be honest?
The Yankees.
Probably the Yankees. Because I don't really care about anybody else outside of my division. Listen, I've kind of ignored the Yankees at this point. When I was a kid, I hated them. Because we're jealous. That's the real reason. But, when you're in high school, you got to hear it from the Yankee fans. They bust your balls, and it makes you hate the team. Now that you're grown up, you don't got to hear it every day. But,
right.
Yeah, probably the Yankees.
Of course, Joe. Of course, little Baddog's getting a cannoli for his birthday. Of course, his first cannoli. I haven't given him a cannoli. I should give him a cannoli. I bet you he'd hammer that thing. Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Just realized the Orioles are paying Chris Davis. Well, how about the Mets paying Bobby Bonilla for the last 300 years?
God, Chris Davis is one of the worst. One of my buddies. My phone's probably dead. So one of my buddies sent me. It's not dead. I'm gonna read you some stats in their last. I think it was in their last 547 plate appearances. I'm gonna read you some stats. I'm gonna compare stats with Chris Davis. Where is this? Whoops. Okay. So here's Chris Davis's last 547 plate appearances. 79 hits, 12 doubles, 16 homers, 40 runs scored, 50 RBIs, 203 strikeouts, 45 walks, 7 hit by pitches, 4 sacrifice flies. That's a 161 average, 241 on base percentage, 284 slugging, 525 OPS.
How is he still in the big leagues?
That's Chris Davis. Now here's a player similar to Chris Davis in his last 547 plate appearances. 105 hits, so that's 26 more than Chris Davis has. Okay, 25 doubles, that's 13 more than Chris Davis has. 8 homers, that's less. 44 runs more than Chris Davis. 30 RBIs. He struck out half the amount of time. He struck out 101 times. He walked half the time, 24. He had 43 sacrifice hits, 4 sacrifice flies. That's a 222 average, 260 on base, 325 slugging.
I think I'm going to get... it's a pitcher. Bumgarner?
Greinke,
yeah.
Zach Greinke has better freaking numbers than Chris Davis.
Because when you told me 45 sacks, I'm like, okay, it's a pitcher. He's bunts.
It's a pitcher.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Isn't that ridiculous?
That's incredible.
Zach Greinke is a better hitter than Chris Davis, who's making, what, $23 million? What the hell is he making?
A lot.
That's the worst contract in baseball.
Oh, not even close. It might be the worst contract in sports. Young people can't stand the speed of the game. Yeah, well, unfortunately, yeah, we grew up with it. Mike, entertain a quick non-Met Yankee question. Sorry to go off topic. What did you think of that Rosen article I sent you in the Yeah, I was at work, so I saw the article. I skimmed through it. I didn't get to read it extensively. I will go back and read it when I respond to my comments tomorrow morning. Chris, you know DeGrom's new deal is deferred for years too. I did not know that, Jose Reyes. Why would they do that?
Yeah. Of course, Arthur. Salute to you, my man. Keep doing what you're doing over there.
Chris
Keep
Davis,
growing the channel.
Yeah, Chris Davis had that one amazing... Yeah, it's kind of like Brady Anderson, who definitely took steroids. He had that one amazing year where he had 50 home runs and 96.
That's the only year... Brady Anderson. Chris Davis is the reason Miguel Cabrera didn't win back-to-back Triple Crowns.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He would have won. He would have been back-to-back Triple Crowns.
And I remember that year, Cargo had a shot at it, too. There were almost 2 players that did it in the same year. Carlos Gonzalez.
That was another really good player. Carlos Gonzalez was really good. Really good.
No, we just said that, Omkar. We literally just said pitchers do it better.
Yeah, Zach Greinke's got better numbers.
Yeah.
I just compared them. Yeah.
I see Goose is in the chat. What's going on? Greinke bats 222, so not really.
Yeah, but Chris Davis is hitting 161. That's 61 points higher.
Yeah. Didn't Hampton hit 300 one year with the Rockies?
I think he hit 10 homers or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
He had a lot of homers there.
There's a lot of Cabrera's in the league.
We're
talking about Miguel Cabrera. We're talking about
Cabrera's, yeah.
Asdrubal
Cabrera, Miguel Cabrera, Orlando Cabrera was in the league.
Best pitcher on the Mets is Jacob deGrom.
Best pitcher on the Yankees is Luis Severino, although he's hurt. But if you mean currently that was not hurt, probably Masahiro Tanaka.
Yeah, and I would say the Mets' second best pitcher, actually, a lot of people would say Syndergaard. I'd probably say Edwin Diaz. I'd probably say Diaz is their second best pitcher.
You were Richie Allen's drinking buddy in the 80s. Is that true, David? That's pretty fun. Crash Allen. That's pretty amazing. Melky Cabrera. Oh, I used to love Melky when he was on the Yankees.
Milkman.
The Milkman delivers, yeah. One of the few John Sterling home run calls I actually liked.
That's probably my favorite one. That one's great. El Camadulce, as sweet as candy, Bobby Abreu.
Never understood that. Never even understood what the hell that means. The one for Stanton is atrocious. I know that I'm watching MLB Extra Innings right now because every time I watch a West Coast game, I see the In-N-Out burger.
Right.
And we don't have one around here. And every time I see it, I'm just like, it looks really good. And I've heard In-N-Out burgers are great.
Oh, I've been there. Every time I go to Vegas, I go to In-N-Out.
That's what everyone says. When I go to Vegas, they get an In-N-Out. I've been to Vegas, and I never had an In-N-Out.
Oh, God. Yeah, so.
I mean, when I picked up a hooker dog, just, hell no, just kidding. Get it out.
Would you say Mike Nixon was 7 games in, but
we don't have David Robertson.
But could Jacob deGrom win the MVP if he pitches like last year and the Mets make the play? If the Mets made the playoffs last year, Jacob deGrom would have won the MVP. So yeah, it's possible if he matches last year. I don't expect him.
If he wins 22 games, if he's 22-6 with an ERA of sub-2, yeah, absolutely he can win the MVP. But you have to hope a batter doesn't have an enormous season because unless that happens, he's not going to win the MVP for the simple fact they pitch every 5 days and a batter plays every day. You should get extra large if you're a bodybuilder.
Yeah, they only won 75 games last year, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he still finished 5th in the MVP vote. Had they been a playoff team last year, he would have won the MVP, in my opinion.
That is awesome, David Michael. Anytime you could drink with a freaking ball player, it's awesome. I'll tell you one of the guys I would love to drink with would be David Cohn. I know David Cohn drinks.
Now, you remember that? I don't know if you knew this. David Cohn warming up in the bullpen. Do you remember that rumor?
No.
My dad used to tell me about it. It was a rumor when he was with the Mets that he used to beat off in the bullpen. It used to say David Cohn warming up in the bullpen.
Oh, man. I can see it from Coney. Coney's that kind of guy. I can definitely see him doing that. Definitely see him doing it.
Jose Reyes, yeah, definitely next year we'll do that.
I can't see Joe Madden being fired. No way.
Great manager.
No, one of the most overrated managers in baseball history.
Well, he's an analytical guy. You don't like that.
I hate him. The stupid shift.
But he's had success.
He would do so many stupid things that would fail, and then he'd do one good thing out of 6 that would was different. Like, oh, what a genius!
He
did some of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life.
He had good success.
He single-handedly blew that World Series by leaving Aroldis Chapman in there for 6 innings.
That's fair.
He tried.
He thought outside the box.
Series.
Tony La Russa thought outside the box too.
Yeah, but Tony La Russa was actually a great manager.
He was a great manager.
He's a whole reason they're specialists out of the bullpen. That was Tony La Russa that did that.
Oh, he used to pat the pitcher.
Everybody that wants to complain about the speed of the game and how slow it is, blame Tony La Russa.
He batted the pitcher
back
8th
in
too.
The 80s, there was not pitching changes like there is today.
He was the first one to bat the pitcher 8th, Tony La Russa. I'm pretty sure. Chris says yes now in September. Oh shit, I forgot. I don't know what you're talking about there, Eric, right? What's going on, Anthony Garita? Thank you for tuning in the stream.
Yeah, what is up, Anthony? How you doing, my man?
Oh, Shake Shack is great, Raphael. Love it. At Citi Field over there.
Yeah, I never had the Shake Shack.
Oh, no?
Oh, I got a question. I don't see either one of these. I only see Jedi as the lone female representative in here. Are you going to meet up with Asia at the ballpark?
Oh, I haven't seen her in the last couple of days, but yeah, I might. We'll see. We'll have to see.
I know she works at the Citi Field.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
We'll see if she comes into the Yankee stream tomorrow. I'll ask her.
Yeah. Why didn't they're all Feely, after opening day you never play the next day. Yeah, when you play at home that you always get the next day off.
For the most part.
Usually, yeah.
I think if you're on the West Coast or in a dome, they don't do that. But the reason they do that is because if your opening day is postponed, you have a backup for your opening day.
That makes sense.
That way, all opening day tickets can get used, and you're not fighting for because there are like a lot of them.
I never thought about that.
I didn't see you, Kim. I'm sorry. So there's Kim in Mexico is also here. So Kim in Mexico and Last Jedi. I did not see you, Kim. I didn't know you were in the chat.
The last time a pitcher won the MVP, I think Kershaw won. Did Kershaw win the MVP? Look that up.
He must have.
I think he did.
Let's see.
Best food you ate? I think Citi Field's food is phenomenal. I've been to a lot of ballparks.
Nope, it's Eckersley.
Really? Oh.
I think the year Kershaw had a chance at it. Did they give it to Jacoby Ellsbury that year?
No.
Did Jacoby Ellsbury? He didn't win the MVP.
No, Jacoby Ellsbury. No. He
didn't win in 2007. No, that was later.
Well, no, Kershaw. I mean, I thought he won like 3 or 4 years ago, but I guess I'm wrong.
It said Eckersley.
Verlander. Feely says Verlander won the MVP in 2011.
Was it?
That's what he said.
Maybe that was wrong. That could be outdated. Sir Cardinal hits those things and it's outdated. I definitely could be outdated.
I could be wrong. Yeah, there it goes. Beak says Kershaw won in 2014.
Okay, so that was way outdated then.
Chick Elliott says, "Have you?" Yes, I have. I've been to Citizens.
Maybe that was the year Jacoby Ellsbury could have won. No, because 15, 16, 17. Yeah, because the year that.
Well, Ellsbury's in a different.
No, because there's a different league.
I was going to say Ellsbury's in the other league.
Yeah.
What's going on, Gary Peters? And I have been to Citizens Bank. I actually like Citizens Bank Park a lot. It's the same architect as Citi Field, so it's very similar to Citi Field.
Yep.
Arthur, I appreciate that, my man.
Yeah, I've also been to Citizens. I've been on pretty much all the East Coast ballparks I've hit. I've never been farther west than Cleveland for a baseball game. Wrigley Field is a bucket list. Pittsburgh, I want to go to that stadium. It looks gorgeous. I mean, there's one on the East Coast that I haven't been to, but every stadium in the AL East except for I never went to the Rogers Center.
You went to Toronto?
I never went to Rogers Center.
Oh, okay.
I've never been there. But Philly, Shea, Citi Field, Tropicana, Fenway, Camden Yards, whatever the Washington Park is called. I really liked Washington's ballpark.
I want to go there. I haven't been there yet.
It's it's funny. It seems so small. It's really cozy, but it's a big park. But it's just it is a really nice ballpark.
I gotta go there. Yeah, that's one of the ones. That and Pittsburgh are the two ones I want to hit next because they're relatively close.
Tropicana's the worst one I've ever been to.
I've been there. That place sucks.
Horrible stadium.
Horrible
stadium. Horrible neighborhood. It's awful.
The new Brave Stadium is nice. I went there 2 years ago. The first year they built it. That was nice.
Yeah.
You'll be 9 by the end of the year, Playboy says.
What will be 9? Citi Field?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, I guess he's talking about Citi Field. Yeah. Or maybe Citizens Bank. Best business idea, what? Piazza Pizzeria or Cano's Cannolis? Oh.
Piazza's Pizzeria because he's Italian. Cano isn't Italian.
Yeah, good call.
Cano wouldn't know nothing about a cannoli.
Yeah, you got to go with the Piazza.
Mike Piazza know about a pizza.
That's a good call.
He's not going to know nothing about a cannoli. He won't know nothing about a cannoli.
When I go to the ballpark, I go for the game, Jose Reyes. Unless I'm on a date. I mean, if you're on a date and, obviously then you walk around and all that. But if I'm there with friends, and I'm going for the game.
I don't care if I'm on a date or not. I'm going for the game.
Well, I'm still going for the game, but, you walk around and all
that. Nah, she can walk around her own. I'm there to watch the damn game. Hell, I don't even get up to piss. I just take my cup and I just go right there. No, I'm just kidding. I've never done that.
And then you drink it.
No.
Yes. What was I going to say? Luis Castillo fly ball, that's one of the most heartbreaking moments as a Met fan, Jeremy. Against the Yankees, yes.
Y'all can't scroll up. 9 will be the amount of... Oh, I'm sorry, Playboy. We didn't know. I mean, when was Citi Field built?
Citi Field was built in 09, I think, their first year.
So the same year as the Yankee Stadium?
Pretty sure. Because 08 was their last year when Ryan Church flied out.
Okay. So they're 10. They're both 10 this year, then.
Yeah. Do you drive for like 9 hours just for the game and drive home? I mean, I don't. I live 10 minutes from Citi Field, 15 minutes from Citi Field. Maybe he's talking about you.
I've never driven. Never driven. Well, my buddy's driven. Baltimore, we were there for a card show a few times. The National Card Show was there in Baltimore, so we were at the Camden Yards. On the way back, it was an impromptu thing. We stopped at Citizens Bank. We actually went the wrong way, going back to New York, and drove right past Citi Field and said, "You want to go to the game?" Because they were just getting ready to start. It was like 6:50. Like, yeah, let's do it. So that was impromptu. Same thing in Washington. Another year we went to the big card show. The Orioles were not in town, so we took a train to Washington. You wouldn't believe how long that train ride is. That doesn't seem like that was like a 3-hour train ride from Baltimore to Washington, with a couple of transfers. It was
really?
A long ride. But Washington, we had the hookup, man. We had like the suite. All you can eat, all you can drink, alcohol, all you can drink and eat.
I went to I got that at Citi Field actually. My friend, he's an accountant, and I guess his firm or whatever. We had 2 seats in the thing, and it was unlimited drinks. That was the only time I've ever been in one of those. That was amazing.
That was amazing. I remember. I never forget. Heard the bartender's name was Dee, and she said, I forgot what she said to me. She said something about beers or something. I remember this is what I was. She made a drink I love Leinenkugel Summer Shandy is one of my favorite beers.
Yeah,
and Sam Summer Ale. I love them both.
No.
So she mixed them together and goes, "That's a D nice." And I was drinking that the whole time. I never thought of mixing those two beers together. Oh my god, it was so good.
Really? Well, that's the beer that has like the lemon tint to it, though.
Yeah, the Shandies have lemon.
Yeah, I've had that.
So every summer when those beers come out, I get 2 12-packs, and I will mix the beers together.
Really?
Because it was really that good. Yeah, D nice. She said her name was D, so she's like, "This is D nice. This is a little D nice for you." The food was amazing there. Oh my god, it was like 97 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, you're sweating out beer. You're drinking a beer. You're drinking a water. You're drinking a beer. You're drinking a water.
Yeah, you have to.
Went in a bathroom. Some guy's throwing up in the first inning of the first game. I'm like, you ain't long for this game. Freaking high. We're talking August in Washington. It's like it's the same thing in Baltimore. It's like you're breathing underwater. It's so damn humid down there. Oh my god, it's brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
Every time I see a Mets jersey, I think of Doug Heffernan. Chip Kelly says,
King of Queens guy.
Yeah.
The stream guys, and if anyone's happens to be new, I don't see anybody new. But in case anybody's been under a rock and has not hit the support for this man right here in the Mets jersey, go into the description. Please click on the link and hit the big red button and ring his bell because he likes to.
I love to have the bell ring. He asked, "What's a black and tan?" I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, it's when you mix a Guinness and another beer. Is it It's another Smithwick's. I think it's a
Smithwick's. Yeah.
I think it's when you mix
tan.
What?
Yingling makes a black and tan.
They do, but
it's kind of beer.
Yeah, I think
Smithwick's. That's a heavy one.
Yeah, I think it's when you mix those two because the Smithwick's looks tan and the Guinness goes to the bottom.
Smithwick's is a good beer.
Yeah, it is.
It can't drink a lot because that is a heavy beer, like Harp.
Yeah,
Harp is a really good beer too, but it's very
filling. Yeah.
Yep. Then of course you got the Snake Bite. That's your Angry Orchard and your Guinness.
Really?
And you've never had one?
No.
If you pour it just right, they'll separate, and you will see the black on the top. I don't know which way it is. You'll see the Angry Orchard on the bottom, and the Guinness just rests on the top of it, or vice versa. I can't remember which one goes in first, but they don't mix.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the black and tan.
They'll actually sit on top of each other if you pour it correctly.
That's pretty funny.
Yes. Dilly, Jedi. I don't have any freaking beer, and I'm getting upset about it. I just realized I can't get Harp in my grocery store sucks for beer. The problem is the closest beverage center to me is about 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
I want 20 minutes. I'm lazy.
I don't have beverage centers near me, but the place next door has a pretty good variation of beer.
Yeah, it's got freaking Cronenberg there. I gotta go to the beverage mart to get that, and of course Wittekerke, which is one of my favorite freaking beers, and no one knows what a Wittekerke is.
Never heard of that one.
It's a good Belgian white wheat. It's white wheats are my favorite. Allagash.
Allagash, I've had.
They're my favorite type of beer. I love white wheats. They're amazing. UFO white is good.
I've had UFO. That's good too.
Good stuff.
Kevin, did you see the King of Queens when they went twice in the show? What?
Arthur, appreciate that. He says, Dilly, Baddog, Chris, man, you guys are awesome. Best duo YouTubers ever. Really appreciate that, Arthur. Thank you so much.
And Anthony says, who's pitching for the Yanks, Baddog?
There's no, they're not playing today, Anthony. Tomorrow, I think, I'm trying to think of who pitched for us. Got to be Domingo Herman.
It would be game 3. It would be the third starter, right? Well, what's the Yankees' record?
We're 3-4.
Oh, yeah, so you're fourth starter. I'm thinking Mets.
It's Domingo Herman.
And
then we'll skip the fifth starter. We'll skip the Luis Cessa thing, and we'll go back to Tanaka on Sunday.
Who is the poorest? We love you, Joe Lutz. And who is the poorest MLB team? It used to be the Expos. I'll say the Oakland A's or the Pittsburgh Pirates. Those are two.
I'm going to say the Tampa Bay Rays.
Tampa Bay Rays, yeah, them too.
Maybe Miami.
Oh, Miami's a good
Florida shouldn't have baseball teams. Florida don't belong in baseball.
They don't care. They care about football. They care about NASCAR, basketball.
They don't even care about sports.
Yeah, you're right. They don't. It's kind of like LA. LA's not. I mean, they like the Lakers, but.
Yep. There's too much to do outside.
Yeah.
You live in New York City. What are you gonna do? Play in traffic? There's no beach there. There's no nothing. You know.
And there you go. J.A. Happ is pitching tomorrow.
Oh, J. Happ is pitching tomorrow. All right. Wow, so we're on our third starter then. He is our third starter.
Who the hell are the Expos section go? It's the Nationals before they moved.
Yeah.
They
I
played in
prefer the
Montreal.
Australian accent, Raphael. I like the Australian one better.
It's
Yes,
gonna.
right. Young guys wouldn't know who the hell the Expos are.
I agree with you, Chip Kelly. I think it's gonna be back and forth this year. Mets and Phillies. I don't think Phillies. I think the NL East is gonna be a good division.
The other day I was at the bank, and this kid came in. He had to be 8, 9 years old. I don't know where the hell he got this hat. He had a winter hat. It was an Expos winter hat. It was the coolest thing. I loved the Expos logo.
It was a nice logo.
The uniforms were. A lot of people thought they were ugly. I loved the Expos uniforms. I thought they were really cool. I loved their helmet.
Yeah.
For years as a kid, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, I always wondered why their helmet said ELB, not realizing it was an M. Because it looked like ELB.
With the red and the blue, yeah.
It looked like ELB, so I'm like, what the hell is ELB? It must be Canadian for, so I don't know. And it wasn't probably until I was about 14 that I realized that was an M.
Yeah.
I never realized it. I always thought it said ELB.
I think when I was a little kid, I thought the same thing. I think it was a cool hat. Remember
they need a team back there. They never recovered from the strike.
Yeah.
They never recovered. And then they were two of the worst stadiums. Olympic Stadium and Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. They were two of the worst stadiums in baseball. Horrible stadiums.
That's one of the first baseball memories I have is the Blue Jays winning the World Series, Joe Carter's walk-off grand slam. I remember watching that as a little kid. That's one of the most iconic moments in baseball history.
Yeah, that was amazing. Off Wild Thing Mitch Williams.
Yeah.
Beating the Phillies.
The Expos logo reminded me of the red, white, and blue ice cream as a kid, Jose Reyes says.
Yeah, I mean, the Bomb Pop? No, it's not a Bomb Pop. It's the, what the hell is that thing called?
I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
It's ice cream. By the way, when the ice cream truck goes flying by, I still get those. I get that pop, whatever the hell it's called. I don't even remember what it's called. It might
like
be
the 4th of July almost, right?
Yeah, I get it all the time. That's my favorite one.
Buffalo Tings in the house. What's going on, Buffalo Tings?
Buffalo Tings. Lost 2-7. It's music to my ears, Buffalo Tings.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Last year they were 17-2 out of the gate. I knew they weren't going to be as good. I didn't expect them to be this bad, but everything broke right for them last year.
Playboy X says he used to think Vicks Medicine was owned by Michael Vick when he was little.
Right.
I bought an Aaron Judge jersey, Dad.
Canadian is a language. It's French Canadian. That is a language. So yes, it is. But French Canadian is an absolute language.
The Mafia or the Sopranos?
The Mafia.
Yeah,
the Mafia real.
Yeah, the Mafia would kill him. Did you know Eduardo Nunez pitched today in the 15th? We did not know that. I actually wanted the Mets to get Nunez last year. I'm glad they didn't, but
They still play in Oakland, Carr? I missed that game today, the Red Sox game. Oh, no, they would start. Who are they playing? Because they would start a new series. It's Friday.
I'm not sure.
There's still Arizona. I think they're playing the Diamondbacks. Pretty sure they're playing the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Here's Mike Trout right now. $450 million man that'll never win a damn thing in his life. But the Angel fans seem to enjoy him. I do as well.
I would enjoy him.
I bought his rookie card 2 years ago. PSA 10 2011 Topps update. Paid $275 for that thing, and it is currently sells between $800 and $1,100.
Wow.
I know exactly what the hell I'm doing with the sports cards.
It's a good investment.
I'm very good with that stuff. I've been in that market since I was 13 years old. So I know exactly what they like. Stocks, I don't screw with stocks. I don't know anything about them. Baseball cards, football cards, you watch me double, triple, quadruple my money like that. Because I know, that's why I told you, I watched like so many baseball games and I pay attention to minor leagues. As Trout crushes one, there it goes! It is out of there!
Mike Trout's unbelievable.
Trout just hits a long bomb off of former Yankee Lance Lynn, and the Angels go up 2-1. What a dramatic thing to just see him that just makes that card go up.
You get a little play-by-play there. William Watson said, could the MLB ever have a salary cap? I doubt it. They added the luxury tax. I doubt it. But it's the only sport that doesn't of the four major sports, but I doubt it. I mean, as Yankee fans, you should hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
The problem is that the small market teams will never spend. They won't. That's the problem in baseball. You get all the A's and the if they had a cap, they wouldn't match it. It's not like football. I feel like they wouldn't. They don't want a cap. They don't want a cap because then they'd be pressured to spend $100 and whatever $1 million.
Well, the luxury tax goes to the smaller market teams, and a lot of the owners just pocket that money.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're not George Steinbrenner. People hated George Steinbrenner. Yankee fans loved him because he wanted to win. He didn't care. He didn't care how much money he spent. I don't care. He's like, I don't care about money. He had money. He didn't care. He wanted to win. So he brought the best players there. He wanted to give the best product to the fans. His son doesn't do that. That's why we say it all the time. We've won one championship in 18 years. Now, George Steinbrenner made a lot of stupid things, did a lot of dumb things. I'll never forget Vladimir Guerrero could have been a Yankee. And they went for Gary Sheffield instead. Not that Gary Sheffield was bad for us, but give me Vladimir Guerrero over Sheffield any day. The other one that
he was almost a Met
to me more than anything else, and this didn't actually have anything to do with George Steinbrenner, it had to do with Brian Cashman. I'll never forget this. Never. 2002, David Ortiz leaving the Twins. George Steinbrenner says to Cashman, go out and get me David Ortiz. Cashman says, where do you want me to put him? And he went to the Red Sox, and the rest is history. Because we had Giambi. And Ortiz was actually
20. I remember he had
an outfielder with the Twins.
He had 22 home runs his last year with the Twins. 22 home runs, 88 RBIs. I remember that.
He platooned with Dustin Moore and another guy that I can't remember with the Twins outfield. And can you imagine David Ortiz in Yankee Stadium? Can you imagine?
He would have hit 50 home runs every year. Yeah, he would have hit 50 home runs.
My God. That would have been ridiculous.
You want to talk about clutch? That guy's one of the clutch.
I don't want to talk about clutch when it comes to him. I still have nightmares about it. He freaking killed. He killed us.
Yeah.
That guy just absolutely killed us. And I swear it seemed like he was up every inning.
Yeah.
It seemed like him and Manny were up every inning. Those two guys, listen, I didn't see.
That was a great lineup. We were talking about all-time great lineups. That was a great lineup.
As much as people want to get, as much as people think want to get on me and make fun of me for being old, I never saw Ruth and Gehrig play. But Ortiz and Manny Ramirez had to be the best back-to-back hitters I've ever seen. I mean, they have to be up there.
They have to be.
To me, that was the modern-day Ruth and Gehrig, because Manny Ramirez was not just hitting 50 homers and driving in 160 runs. The guy was hitting 335. 340.
And I'm trying to think. That's a great point you bring. I'm trying to think of a duo that could have been. Maybe I'm gonna give you some. Just off the top of my head, Griffey and Martinez, Edgar. There you go. Get that real quick.
Oh, thank you so much. We fly high. I believe that's Jake Reynolds. Just turned 17.
I didn't know that was Jake Reynolds.
Happy birthday! You're born a day before my son. Dilly, mother.
Dilly, happy birthday. I'm just trying to think of good duos. I remember when Bell went to the White Sox. That was supposed to be, and it was a letdown. Bell and Thomas, because I think they both hit mammoth years the year before. But yeah, that might be the best in my lifetime. It's got to be up there, Manny and Ortiz. Yeah,
they were absolutely ridiculous. That just crazy. Poppy killed us every year, Edwin. But yeah, especially 2004. 2004, 2004, it sucks. I mean, people say Mariano blew the games. He blew game 4. I'll say that. I also say that he should have pitched out the first pitch, and he would have got Dave Roberts if they pitched out. But the hell with that. It was game 5. That's the one. That was the one that set me off. Because I'll never forget Joe Torre saying, I'm only using Mariano Rivera for 1 inning. He's not going to get more than 3 outs. Well, 4-2 in the 8th. They bring in Tom Gordon, whose arm was hanging by a thread. The guy threw 1,000,000 innings that year. He had nothing left. He pitches the 7th. Manny Ramirez hits an absolute P. Right, he had first and second with 1 out. And Manny Ramirez destroys a pitch. Hits it right to shortstop. They turn 2. I mean, he couldn't hit the ball harder. He brings Gordon out for another inning. Ortiz leads off with a homer. Then Kevin Millar walks. They bring in Dave Roberts to pinch hit or to pinch run. He steals. Trot Nixon ground ball base hit. They first and third, no one out. They bring in Mariano Rivera. Mariano Rivera gets 6 outs. Jason Varitek hit a sac fly, which tied the game. So technically, it's Mariano's blown save, which is BS because it wasn't his run, but it's his blown save. And
he won the last 3 games. And,
he got every out. Mariano got every out. I said if Mariano would have started the 8th inning, the Red Sox never win that series. Joe Torre had a very, very bad managed series that series. Very bad.
Which is why he was shortly off the team.
Because Don Zimmer was the brains behind that whole thing. I love Joe Torre. Good front man. Good at handling all the egos. Good at juggling the players. Great at the media. Great with everything. Don Zimmer was the absolute brains behind everything that happened with that dynasty. That guy was the real manager of those teams. Joe Torre was like the front man. Zimmer was the guy that did all the dirty work behind the scenes. Zimmer was the guy, in my opinion. Because after Don Zimmer left in 2003, Yankees never made another World Series with Joe Torre there. They never got out of the. They never got past the ALCS. They just never did.
Good call.
And then they lost in the first round in 05, 06, 07. And that was the end of Joe Torre.
Yeah, I remember he went out kind of sloppily a little bit there at the end, Joe Torre.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not huge on names. Is he a pitcher? I don't know. Oh, you're talking Cushman. My next door neighbor, Bryce Terang, first-round pick, plays for the Milwaukee Brewers. His dad, Brian, played for the very good stuff, David. Cool.
It is. I've actually heard of Bryce Terang. Actually heard of him. David Ortiz, surprising, he was never an MVP. But it's because he's a DH.
DH, yeah. And everybody says Edgar's the greatest DH ever. I think it's Ortiz.
It's got to be.
I think it's Ortiz.
Martinez killed us, too. Well, I'll tell you, the 1 year that a DH did win it, oh, God, was it 79? Oh, God, who the hell was a DH that won it in 79?
A DH won the MVP?
I'm pretty sure DH won the MVP in 79 because Ken Singleton should have won it that year, and he didn't. Oh, God, who the hell was it? It wasn't Harold Baines.
Harold Baines, one of the greatest DHs ever, too.
God, I can't think of who the hell it was. Ken Singleton got ripped off in 79, though. I got to look it up. That's going to bother me. That's going to bother me. I have to know who that was.
Best baseball brawl. The Mets got into one. I can't remember. I was a kid. I remember it was a pretty famous one in the early 90s, but I mean, there's a lot. I mean,
Don Baylor.
Don Baylor?
Don Baylor won it. Wow, Don Baylor had a pretty damn good year, though, now that I look at that. 296, 36, 139, and 22 steals.
I want to see if Baddog could get this. Who holds
but Ken Singleton was ahead of higher WAR.
Let's see if Baddog gets this trivia question. Who holds the record for the most RBIs ever in a single season? And how many did he hit?
Hack Wilson, 191 RBIs.
You got Hack Wilson right, and you might be right on the 191. I thought it was 194, but you definitely got Hack Wilson right.
191.
It was 191. Yeah, I knew it was Hack
Luke
Wilson.
Gehrig had 184. I think that's second. I think that's the AL record.
Yeah, and it was a
Juan Gonzalez. They were talking about 1 year. Juan Gonzalez had over 100 RBIs at the break.
Yep.
I'm talking about a guy that mashed.
Oh God! Remember that's another famous home run derby. Juan Gonzalez versus Griffey when they were hitting it off the wall in Camden Yards. But he mashed Juan Gonzalez.
Juan Gonzalez was a damn steroids.
Yeah.
Course. And but man, he was good.
191. It was okay. So it was 191. Could the National League ever have it? Yeah, I think they're going to.
Here's my opinion on that series, Eric Wright. That should be the Enterainah versus Baddog because both of us are 10 times better than those idiots will ever be, and I don't know what the freaking draw is to either one of them. How's that?
Record. Oh, I know this. Don't tell me.
McGuire.
It was 49 McGuire. Yep.
Sorry, yeah. I just jumped out. My bad.
49 McGuire with Oakland, yeah.
Yep. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. It's Aaron Judge.
Oh, he broke it.
Judge hit 52 as a rookie. He broke that record. How the hell that? Fire's talking about Aaron Judge.
Judge. It was 49.
It was 1987, and then Aaron Judge broke it in 2017. Yeah.
No, that might be outside.
I corrected it. I corrected it before I got up there, Buffalo Ting, because I was wrong at first. But yes, it was Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge did it the proper way.
Who holds the record? I could be wrong on this, but who held the record for how many the most home runs ever by a catcher in a single season? In '96, he did it. But I think somebody matched it after. But Todd Hundley hit 41 as a
41,
Met. As a Met. And then I think Javi Lopez might have broke it. I know he had 43, but it might not all be.
Yeah, because you said that in your Met series, and I remember saying Johnny Bench hit whatever it was, 47 in 1970, but you said he hit some of them as a third baseman.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know, but yeah. Jedi's back. Movie Critic is in the house. What's going on there, my man? No, Judge was a rookie that year, Jeremy. He didn't have enough at bats in 2016 to qualify, so he was a rookie. He won Rookie of the Year. That was his rookie season.
Babe Ruth. We said that earlier, Anthony. It's got to be Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth, without a doubt.
Got to be.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a Met fan.
Yeah.
It's going well. Just finished. Good stuff, movie critic. Thank you for stopping by.
Always appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 12:24. We talked a lot of baseball. We'll go on for a little longer.
Yeah.
PewDiePie is a gamer and T-Series is a music company. I didn't know that they were music. I knew nothing about T-Series.
I never even heard of T-Series. I've heard of PewDiePie.
Best man ever is Tom Seaver, Anthony. Not even close. Piazza's second, but Seaver's one. Why is there no DH in the National League? I actually prefer the no DH, to be honest, but I'm a National League fan, so American League fans probably prefer the DH, but I
actually prefer the pitcher.
I like the strategy involved. I get why people
get a better manager to do that.
Oh, National League manager is much tougher than being an American League manager. But I prefer, as much as there's less offense because you don't have a David Ortiz hitting instead of Jacob deGrom. But there's a lot more strategy that comes involved because you have to. What am I going to do here? Am I going to take the pitcher out in the 6th inning when he only has 87 pitches? Or am I going to let him roll? Because I got to run in scoring position with 2 outs. Do I take my shot here, or do I let DeGrom pitch another inning or two? So there's a lot more thought process. You have double switches. You have sacrifice bunts. There's so much more strategy that goes into the National League game as opposed to the American League.
Yeah.
American League is more just see the ball, hit the ball. Try to.
It's the hitters' league. It's
the
hitters' league. National League is a pitcher's league. Just how it is. Yeah, he says you're going to the Mets game April 23rd or 24th for the Noah Syndergaard bobblehead day.
No, I'm going to Sunday to the Jacob deGrom bobblehead day.
Going Sunday. Maybe little Baddog and I will look and see if we can find you on TV.
There you go. AFC or NFC? We're Giant fans, so obviously NFC.
Yeah, of course.
Chris Baddog, I'm still here eating my hot Cheetos and Mountain Dew and gummy worms. Okay, that's a good diet there, Arthur. I think Baddog boot camp.
That helps the chest moss, I think.
Oh, I tell you, he has the best chest moss on YouTube. That's coming from me.
And I think Sir Cardinal's got the best facial moss.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
That's coming from me.
Go ahead, Cushman. I wish I had some Mountain Dew. I was never a Mountain Dew guy.
Yankee game, a good first date? No,
baseball game's never a good first date.
No.
First date, you go to a bar. Yeah, or bar. Depending on how old you are, but I usually go to a bar.
Dinner and a movie, man. Don't take them. Listen, I always say this: first date, you don't even need to go to the movie. Okay, usually you go to dinner first, and then you see how that works out. Because in a movie, you're not conversing with your date. You want to know if you're going to hit it off or not. So you go to the dinner first. You don't take them to an Applebee's or a Chili's or something like that. You don't take them to a 5-star restaurant.
No.
You take them to a nice middle-of-the-road restaurant and get them a good meal. You don't be like, hey, baby, here's a hamburger. You want to split the nachos. That's not how you do it. And I would suggest Italian restaurant.
And you don't want to get sloppy either. You don't want to go to you don't want to order something that's gonna I don't know, a burrito or something. You want something that's not gonna be you don't want to get slop on your face.
You want to go to a good Italian steakhouse.
Yeah,
that's your best bet.
Yeah,
because the mood is perfect. You got the dim lights, you got the good atmosphere, you got the good Italian music there. Italians are romantic people, so usually got your Dean Martin, you got your Frank Sinatra playing. That's where you want to take. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, movie critic, Dilly, my man. I really appreciate that. He says I'm the best Met since I live close to Metropolitan Ave. Great stream, love these guys, keep up the good work. Best place is Stout for me. I've never been to Stout, so I don't know, but
Stout's great. And Cushman says, I took a social studies test and my crush stood in front of me. I think that means. When we finished, we talked, and I asked, how was the test? And she said it was really hard. Okay. That's what you had to tell us?
All right. It's Italian romantic. Yeah, of course, Afghanistan. It is. All of it.
I hate the Olive Garden last
I would never suggest Olive Garden, no. No. There's a nice restaurant up near me called Delmonico's Steakhouse.
Oh yeah, yep. I know it.
You know that?
That's a chain.
It is.
Yeah.
Are they down in the city?
I've been to it. I don't remember where, but I've been to one.
That's a good place to go.
Yeah.
So it's a good place, and it's one of the only places around me that serves veal parmesan. That's usually where I have to go get it, and I don't go there very often. And now I think I need to go to frickin' Delmonico's get some veal. And I don't know if I ever told you this story about how much I eat, because I can throw the food away. They give you a massive serving.
Family style?
Yeah, no, not quite family style. That's Buco de Beppas. That's another one.
I've been there too. Yep,
that's family style.
They got that in Atlantic City. Buco de Beppas. Yeah.
That's actually not a bad Italian restaurant for a chain. That's actually pretty good. They don't have veal parm. No, pisses me off. They got chicken parm.
What's Carmine's another chain?
I've not been to Carmine's.
That's family style.
But this, I ordered a veal. And great, they always bring you the bread. I had like 2 baskets of bread. So I'm eating this. And
I always go through the basket.
My wife will always say, just can you bring 2 baskets, one for him and one for everybody else? Because I hammer it. So I eat the bread. I get my appetizer. You get the veal parm. I get the penne pasta. This veal is. I eat the whole plate, the end of pasta. And the waitress comes back and says to me, she goes, I've never seen anybody finish that plate of food. She goes, I've been working here 4 years. I've never seen anyone finish the veal parm. And I just looked at her and said I was hungry.
I can eat too. I go through the whole bread basket. They always got to bring an extra bread basket. Yeah, of course he likes the fried mozzarella. What's going on, Kid Blue in the house?
Kid Blue! He's the man. You gotta love Kid Blue, man.
It's your first date?
I'm looking at Rogue Dog and Jedi. Can have a date. Seems like.
Oh, Central Coast Climbers in the house. Go check his channel, by the way. Formerly Christopher Columbus.
Definitely. Yes, got to get them carbs. How many calories do I eat in a day, Central Coast Climber? It really depends on the day. Right now, I'm getting into like being trim for the summer because it's summertime. I'll usually eat between 1,500 and 1,800 a day. That's it. During the winter, it's about 2,500 to 3,000. Because you're just naturally hungry. You need more body weight in the winter. It's cold. And the chemicals in your brain crave more food. So it's the truth. So I also drink a lot more beer in the winter.
Yeah, I think everybody does. And Cushman I just saw the joke, Cushman. Well done.
Yeah, that's called sexual harassment.
Yeah, you probably go to jail for that if you are our age. You would definitely go to jail for it if you are our age. Unless you're in a chat. When you're in a YouTube chat, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, it goes there.
Barkley. I mean, if we're just talking pure talent, Barkley.
Yeah, but again, I'm not ready to say Barkley is the greatest running back in the history of the Giants.
Yeah.
But talent-wise, I've never, ever. The closest guy I've seen was Barry Sanders. They're very similar, but Barkley is stronger and faster than Barry Sanders. I've never seen a running back with more talent than Barkley in my life, ever.
And I've seen Raphael asked me this a few times now, so Meet the Mets. He wants me to sing Meet the Mets, which is what I sing every time the Mets win when I stream, which I've only done 2 games so far, but I will do it.
Yeah, I haven't got to do it because I've only streamed 1 complete game, and we lost to the Orioles. Was it the Orioles or Tigers? We lost to the Tigers. But, people want me to do this, start spreading the news. Sinatra.
Every game now I do the God Bless America at the 7th. And if the Mets win, I do the Meet the Mets.
Yeah, you're not getting me to do God Bless America. I'll do the start spreading the news thing maybe. But, I'm not a sick.
The Mets.
Yes, you re-signed D-Law. Both Enterainah and I did a video on it.
Yes, we did. Over, I think it was 105 was the official number. 5 years, 105.
Yep, $65 million guaranteed.
Yep. Have you ever met the Mets, Tainer? Meet the Mets. Have I ever met a Met? Yes. Well. Yeah, I got to go on the field and shake all their hands. There was a day where I got to do that, but I don't think all the best players were there. I remember Todd Zeal, Lenny Harris was a good pinch hitter at that point, but I don't think Piazza was there. I would have remembered that. Alfonso, I don't think was there. I
met a lot of Mets.
Yeah,
Strawberry and Gooden. Gooden always has the best. I think I've told you the story about I'm. Gooden's on the stage. Our table's right in front of the stage. It's a quiet time. We're getting near the end. I'm wearing an Eli Manning jersey. And I turn around Doc says, "Hey man, how you doing?" I say, "Hey, what's going on?" We start talking, and he says, "You're a Giants fan?" I said, "Yeah." So we started talking about Giants. He goes, "Where'd you get your jersey?" So I said, "The Colony Center, which is a little mall, south of us, but near the card show." And they said, "Do they have them in white?" And I said, "Yeah." I said they have them in white, but I said, "Me, I'm a sloppy eater. Now normally I drop a meatball on my jersey or something." And he goes, "Oh, tell me about it. Look what I did at breakfast." And he had a stain on his shirt. I think that's my bad luck. I went down to the last Giants game I went to. I went to Reds. I don't even know if Reds is still there. It was a bar like you could take it was like across the street.
Right.
You know where it is?
Yeah, I know where it is. I never went there, but I know where it is. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm at Reds, and I get I'm wearing my Victor Cruz jersey, and I get chips and salsa. Now I got a blue jersey on. Wouldn't you know the damn salsa hits the white one. And I'm like, well, I guess it's perfect. I dropped salsa on the Victor Cruz jersey, and I thought that was funny. And then the waitress, she had to be in her late 40s, and my wife thought it was hilarious because the woman was hitting on me. It was obvious.
Right.
She was flirting with me big time, and I'm not paying any attention. My buddy Phil is laughing. He's like, "Oh, dude, she." Blah, blah, blah. He goes, "I bet you she has a wet nap, in her car or something." And sure enough, he asks, and sure enough, she had a wet nap in the car. So I was out. We went back later that night to Reds, and
so you went to Reds before the game and after?
Yeah, I remember seeing the owner. He was red. His face was red. He was red. He drank a lot. We were getting on the shuttle. He goes, "You can't bring those beers on the shuttle." They had like a little, not in the bar, but like outside they had a cooler. I got like a PBR, which would make Techie proud, the big 22. And so did my buddy. I think he had a Heineken. So we chugged them before we got on the bike. And he says, "Attaboy." He said, "Attaboy." There you go. But, so we went back, and it's one of the weirdest nights of my life. Yankees and Red Sox were playing, so I was watching that game. Right. And we saw these guys come in suits about 1 a.m. with, like, hookers. They were hookers. And we thought they were, like, politicians. I mean, that's what these guys look like. We're like, what the hell is going on? My buddy went to the bathroom, and he swears there was Russian mafia guys in there talking. As soon as he went in there, they stopped talking, or they started talking in Russian. They were. We saw a guy choke out his girlfriend at the bar.
Wow.
We saw, I almost got into it with a guy. This guy I went with my buddy. My wife went with one of her friends. And this guy bought my wife and her friend a shot. And I don't care.
Yeah.
But I messed around with the guy, and I go, "How come you didn't buy me one?"
Right.
I said, "Why didn't you buy me one?" And I forgot he said something. Now, I don't remember doing this at all. But my wife and her friend said, when he said that to me, I grabbed the back of his neck. And I had him so hard that I was moving his whole body around with my hand. And she goes, they're like, you should have saw like he was like really afraid. Now, I didn't mean it, like I wasn't even thinking about it, but I was like talking when I just happened to put my hand there, and that was, I don't know.
Wow.
I'm a Dilly, diehard Giants fan.
Dilly.
Well, I really appreciate it. But it's a very interesting night. I have not been back since.
I don't think I think I know why.
And you know what? You know what's funny? Have you ever seen the Impractical Jokers with the scoop potatoes? That's Reds.
That's Reds.
That's Reds. He's doing his scoop ski potatoes. That's Reds, and
yeah.
of course, I go, why the hell weren't they there when I was there?
That show's great.
Yeah.
Remind me never to approach Baddog. Yeah, you got that right. And don't buy. If you do, don't buy his wife a drink.
No. If you want to buy my wife a drink, just make sure you buy me one too. I don't buy her all the drinks. You're saving me money, so buy her all the drinks you want. I was just joking with him. I didn't even want a drink.
Yeah, I know you were.
I said, "Why didn't you get me one too?" And he gave me a smart ass comment, so I grabbed his neck. I don't know, he punched you in the face. I would punch a guy in the face if he spit on my shirt too, Chad. But that was fun.
That was back in Baddog. Oh,
man,
there you go. Dilly.
Diehard Giants fan. Dilly. Looking forward to the Yankee stream tomorrow, Baddog. Always a great stream, guys. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to doing a Yankee game tomorrow. Hopefully we can win one. I've done 2 of them. They lost them both.
You guys are due. A lot of injuries, though, like you said.
Yeah.
He was trying to smash. Yeah, a lot of guys try to do that at bars. That's not uncommon.
Yeah. No, I don't blame him. I mean, if I saw my wife sitting in the bar and I wasn't with her, that's how I picked her. Well, it wasn't a bar, but You know what I mean? What's your favorite song? Cushman
Oh,
asked.
my favorite song? I don't know. I don't know many, as you guys know. I know how to sing them, but I don't know many. I'd probably go with Piano Man. Just being from Long Island, Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel. It's cliche, I know, but probably Piano Man.
Tough one, because there's a lot I like, but I always probably "Your Love" by the Outfield. I love that damn song. I love that song.
What is it? What song?
Your Love" by the Outfield.
I don't know that one.
It was a big hit in 1986. You're not gonna know it.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Know anything from the 80s?
I don't know that one.
Still stuck in the 80s this year. He would know it. That "Faithfully" by Journey is one of my all-time favorites.
I love Journey.
Eddie Money's got. Probably it's probably that. It's got to be that. That one stood the test of time for me. There's a lot of songs that they would have been hot at one time, and I would like it more than but that always stood the test of time. The "Your Love" by the Outfield.
That's a good one.
Charlie, I don't know if he still does it, but when Charlie Blackmon comes up to the plate for the Rockies, that's his walk-up song.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh.
And they would always they sing like "I don't want to lose your love," and then they say "tonight." So when he comes up, or when you go to a ballpark, you'll hear it, and they'll say "I don't want to lose your love," and they cut it off, and the whole crowd will go "tonight."
Yeah.
Funny Jim moments. Don't have enough time in this stream. Got a lot of those.
Are you into the Rolling Stones, Baddog?
No, never was a Stone. There's a few Stones songs I like. I like "Can't Get No Satisfaction." I like "Shattered." I like "Ruby Tuesday." I like maybe, you know what? I shouldn't say that. I think I like the '60s Stones, but when they got into the '80s, like the "Start Me Up," I thought it sucked. I think I think the '60s Stones I liked.
I'm gonna just acknowledge it, otherwise you're gonna keep typing it. Cushman says it's so cute that I said Piano Man. All right. Okay. AC/DC is great.
Rogue Dog gets it. Rogue Dog knows the Outfield. All right.
I wonder if I could sing AC/DC. I don't know if I could change my voice like that. That's
a tough one.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough.
My favorite movie, Nathan, it's tied. Goodfellas and Halloween. The original Halloween are my favorite movies.
Goodfellas is fantastic.
Yep. I think I told you all the funny Jim moments. I don't think I've really had one. And I had one I guess I had one yesterday.
I go early Beatles. Those are the songs I like.
Definitely '60s Beatles.
A lot of people say late Beatles, but I like the early Beatles.
Although I do like "Come Together." That's a great drug song. I don't know what the hell it's about, neither do they. But so William, yesterday, I'm doing skull crushers, which any of you guys don't know. It's when you lay on the bench and you take the bar and you bring it back here and you push it forward. It's working your triceps. So I have a 110-pound barbell. That's not light. It's a lot. It's a lot of freaking weight.
Yeah,
is a lot.
I think when I was at my strongest, I was doing about 90 on that. So that's 110's a lot.
I get actually go a little heavier. I get to get up to 125 on those. So it's my middle set, and these two idiots. You know, I'm probably 3 feet away from the weight rack. So these two guys just decide they're going to stand in front of me. Don't know why they're going to stand there. Don't know what they're doing, but they're standing there. And, hold on a second. My wife's calling me. Hold on a second.
All right. Might be the baby. Little Baddog.
I'll be right back. Gotta go. Yeah, I do. I gotta go get him, Bob.
All right. I'll try to keep the chat entertained while you do that. You know what, guys? What is it now? 12:42. Give me a song. We'll try to keep you guys entertained. Give me a song. And I gotta wait till Baddog comes back, and there it is. Giants ate Embiid's lunch today. Creed. All right, you want Creed? All right. That's my go-to. So you guys just get you right in my wheelhouse. Right in my wheelhouse, guys. I'm not Baddog. So I'm not Baddog. I can't see Baddog right now, but I'm sure I'll hear him when he comes back. Just waiting on the lyrics to pop up here. Should I sing this to Cushman, since he loves me? This one's for you, Cushman. This one's for you, Cushman. Mets were off today, Nathan. This one's for Cushman. Well, I just heard the news today. It seems my life is gonna change. I close my eyes, begin to pray, then tears of joy stream down Cushman's face with arms wide open under the sunlight. Welcome to this place, I'll show you everything. And I think I just heard Baddog back. So there you go, Cushman.
Yes. I heard that. I hit the latrine while I was there as well.
He made a pit stop there.
I had to be done. And a little Baddog needed a bamba. He needs milk when he wakes up. I don't know. I guess it's like anybody else that wakes up and is thirsty in the middle of the night. Anyway, to finish the story for William Watson, so I'm doing they stand. It's one thing to take your weights off the rack and go away. Well, they stood in front of me. So what did I do? I dropped the freaking weight behind him. When I got up, I threw it, and it rolled into the guy's ankle.
Ooh.
And, guess what? They moved. It's very disrespectful to stand in somebody's area in the gym. It's one thing I don't like a lot of things. And let's be fair. I have rage in there. I want to get in and out of there, but there's two things I cannot stand. People using a machine on the cell phone. Number one, I lose it when someone's on there. I'll go right up to them and go, how many more sets of text?
I'm the same way. When I used to go to the gym a lot, I used to get pissed off when people be on the cell phone.
It makes me mad.
Cushman screaming
and then the people in my space when I'm trying to lift, I don't like that because it's dangerous.
Right, of course.
Those guys clip me with all that weight, I can get hurt. So I don't like it. I don't like when people are in my space. So like I said, I threw it down, and I clipped. I didn't throw it at I didn't throw it and hit his it hit the ground and it rolled into his ankle. It's not like I took the guy out or anything. I made sure I hit the ground. I made sure I didn't hit him in the ankle, but I made sure to let him know that I was there and don't ever stand in front of me when I'm doing skull crushers again or anything else for that matter. I've done that with benching too, where guys have done it, and I have 110-pound dumbbells in each hand, and when I come up, I don't put them on my knees because you can break your freaking knees. A lot of guys will do that.
What do you do?
I just let it go on the ground.
You drop your hands.
I let it. Yep, I come up and I just drop them.
Okay.
Left side of me, but when there's someone in front of me, a lot of
when you're bringing them up, you put them on your knees and you do this.
Yes, kick them back.
Yeah.
When I'm coming up, I do not put them on my knees.
Right.
Because a lot of times I'll just drop them on the side of me, but when that guy was there, I kind of threw them and they flipped and it hit him.
Wow.
I'm a douchebag in the gym. Just leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered.
I hear you. You're trying to do your routine, man.
Well, I gotta get home. I gotta get home and hang out with little Baddog, Miss Baddog, and I gotta stream. I got stuff to do.
Mike Nixon, rather. You've asked me a couple times for Piano Man. I've done that one. If you guys want a different song, I could do it. But I've done Piano Man a few times. But if you want it, I'll do it.
That's right. When I'm trying to work the long head of my triceps, it does irritate me. Yeah, the long head. I am in the gym, Goose. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a nice guy in there. I'm not.
No, Cushman, man, I appreciate it. Just don't bring in the penis name anymore, and I'd appreciate that. Do Twist and Shout.
Chad, that's different. I mean, that I'm. Good point. Touche, Chad. With hot girls in front of me, she can stay there. Touche. I'll be like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
You want piano?
Extra rep or two.
Well, Bad Dog's talking. I'm just gonna bring it over here so I can look up the lyrics. Let me bring Bad Dog back on the screen here.
That's right, William. I am. I'm not. I wouldn't say, I'm not always like, I mean, I talk to people, I'm nice, but if you do things that agitate me, which it's easy to do in there, because I'm a different person in there. I'm in there for a reason. I'm not in there to socialize. I'm not in there to show off. I'm not in there to do, I am in there to stay in shape and to do my routine and to get home. That's what I go there.
It's a business trip.
It really is. That is all business. We always say, thanks for coming in today. Or we're putting in work. I always say that. You know, one of the trainers in there always sees me. He's like, I see you getting that shmoney. He says, he's like, if it's on the table, you better take this shmoney. I'm like, I don't leave shmoney for nobody, and I punch a clock when I'm in here. It's time to go to work.
I like it. I've never
said. Murray standing next to me, his ankles will get clipped too. Don't stand in front of me.
I
That's
can't.
on the Giants, then I have to leave him alone.
I can't click that link, Afghanistan. What song is it? But somebody said, "Hey Jude." I'm trying to remember how the Beatles sing that song. Hey Jude. That's all I know. I started YouTube a lot to coping with losing. I'm sorry to hear that, Cushman. Sorry to hear that, buddy.
When I see JJ Watt in the gym, I just leave that guy. Listen, if the guys are bigger than me, I don't do that. I'm not stupid. If I think I can take a guy, then I'll do something like that.
You're not messing with JJ Watt. You're not messing with JJ Watt.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's some dudes in there that are monsters.
Right.
I'm not doing that to them. Although the one that's got the gym story started with William is there was a big steroid guy that I got into it with. And I didn't fight him, but I did not back down from his dumb ass. I let him have it. I let him have it. This guy is probably 6'2", 240. You can tell he's on the roads. His skin is red.
Right.
There's a I mean, he's because he tans. Skin's red.
I already know the type of guy you're talking about.
He's got the big scar back here because he tore his lat. He wears short shorts, and he walks around like he wants to do. I have not seen him in 2 months because he's off his cycle. This guy is using both cables. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's working out with his steroid girlfriend. You can tell she's steroid good because she looks like a man. She's got the Cro-Magnon jaw. She's got that back knee. But they're on one side of the cable machine. So I go to the other side, and I got my headphones in, and I start using it. And I feel this tap on my shoulder. So I turn around, and the guy goes like this. He doesn't say nothing. He goes like he's using both sides. So I say to him, I go, well, how many more sets do you have? And he says to me, I don't know. So I look at him. I go, "What? He's not a beginner, and you always have a routine." And I go, "What the f do you mean you don't know? What is that? What the hell is I don't know?" Oh, he's like, "Oh, I don't know." I go, "What the hell is I don't know?" And again, this guy's 3 inches taller than me. He's like 30 pounds heavier than me. What do you mean? He's like, relax. This is fun time, he says to me. I go, it may be fun for you, but I don't stick a needle in my ass, and I got a wife and kid to go home to. This is work for me, all right? I want to work. And then I went upstairs, and I have my headphones in, and I know he can hear me, and probably everyone in the gym can hear me because I'm talking out loud, and when you have headphones, you don't realize how loud you're talking. So I'm like, I'll take this freaking bar, I'll crack you right in the back of your freaking head and knock you the I was mad, because he was disrespectful. But I'll tell you what. The guy never ever. The guy sees me. He would see me afterwards, and he'd try to always walk behind me and I just completely ignored him every time. He would always try to, because I made him look bad in front of his girl because he said nothing to me. Because you probably sitting there going, this guy's either really tough or really crazy, and either way, I'm not testing him because he's a lot smaller than me. Why is he getting in my face?
Right.
And every other time he'd walk around, I would just look straight ahead, not even acknowledge the guy. And I know that agitated him even more. But
he still goes to the gym?
I haven't seen him in 2 months because he's off his crap.
Oh, okay.
I know. But don't ever come into my gym think you're owning it because you're not. That's my gym. I've been there for 10 years. That's my place.
That's awesome. God, that's a great story.
Yeah, well, that's how it started. That's why William Watson asks about it, because he liked that story.
Enterainah, you want me to do piano? He's asked me like 5 times. Let me look it up. Hold on.
How big am I? What do you mean? Tall? I'm 6 foot and I weigh about 200 pounds.
I'm 5'11" and I weigh about 200 pounds, but not the same amount of muscle.
So we're both like running backs.
Yeah, both like running backs. Yeah.
We're both runners. You're a long distance runner. I'm a sprinter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do the marathons.
Yeah. Buffalo Ting says, if I ever become rich, I'm hiring Baddog as security. Listen, I didn't say I was a good fighter. Actually, I've only been in a couple fights in my entire life because I don't like to fight. But I will stand up for myself. That's one thing I don't care. I wouldn't even care if I get my ass kicked. I'm not backing down from anybody. I don't care. I'm not. You're not going to disrespect me. I won't put up with that crap. I don't disrespect other people. You're not going to disrespect me. That's just how it is. Not happening.
I don't know why everybody seems short. I mean, I'm sitting down, so maybe he's closer to the camera. I don't know. But everybody says I look short on camera. I'm 5'11". I'm a legit 5'11".
Well, Pavith says you're like 4'2", right?
Yeah.
Is it Pavith?
There's no reason for me to lie. I'm 5'11", but maybe 5'10" and 3/4.
Jedi remembers that video when I told EDP I was built like a safety. I flexed on him in that video. And I can remember people in that video going, EDP really wants to fight this guy. He must have a death wish. Like, what's wrong with EDP wanting to fight this guy? This guy will kill him.
All right, real quick, because this is for Mike Nixon. Great subscriber of mine. He's always in the sports fury, too. He's very active in the sports community.
Yes, he is.
And this is for you, Mike Nixon. I got to get my Billy Joel mode here. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The bad dog shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He says, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La da da dee da, la da da dee da da dum. That's it. I got another verse, but that's it. That's all you get. That's all you get, Mike Nixon.
I was gonna say that, Goose, but he was singing, so I didn't want to interrupt him. That Mike Trout just hit another homer.
Jesus Christ, 3-1
Angels.
Two in the same game.
Yeah. Get off. I'll tell you, Chris Baddog, one time I was in the bar at Las Vegas, and this dude threw a beer bottle that was finished and it broke, and it says, "Can I take a break and ride on a horse show?" I don't get it. Did I miss something?
No, I think it's just random nonsense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good night, Anthony.
Am I bigger than most NFL players in terms of muscle? Hell no.
No way.
Hell no. No way. Those guys are dumb. How big they are. Maybe the quarterbacks. But other than that, no.
You want to see us fight, Jeremy? What do you think?
Fighting him ever.
Peter, what do you think of Peter Alonso? Bad Dog Steve Mendes says.
I think enough of him so much, Steve, and that I actually used him as one of my tags in this stream. That's how much I think of him.
He can hit.
It's always good to see it. Always good to see young guys hit.
He can definitely hit. I think he'll be a 30-100 guy. High 20s. He's gonna be a consistent 25 to 30 home run guy.
Yeah. EDP's pregnant with a chocolate cake, says Afghanistan.
Bad Dog, you want to tussle? Sexy Goat says.
Yeah, I like to, I just want to tussle with everybody. I got Mad Dog for WrestleMania, new WWF champion. There's another things where next to those guys, I look like a child. I met John Cena. I told you this. I met John Cena at a pizzeria Uno.
He's from Long Island. Now he lives on Long Island now.
Well, he was up here for a wrestling thing in Albany at the Pepsi Arena, or the Times Union Center, it's called now. But they were up here for a wrestling event. Carlito was actually at another mall signing autographs. So they were at Colony Center, all the wrestlers signing autographs at FYE. And so I was at Mall Crossgates, which is a bigger mall, but all the wrestlers there. So I'm in Pizzeria Uno, and he's walking down the hall, and my wife says it's John Cena, or I'm like, she says it's John Cena. And I'm like, no, it ain't. And I look out there, and it's John Cena. He got his cap, he's got all of his gear on, his whatever the heck. I don't even remember what that stuff was called. This is by 2007, maybe. I wasn't really watching wrestling back then, but I knew who he was, obviously.
Right.
And the elbow band and the what the hell is
You see me.
whatever.
You see me.
Yeah, he had the hustle loyalty respect shirt on, the pink, rock cold and fruity pebbles. At one time because he wears the colorful stuff. So I'm like, that is John Cena. And then my wife's like, he's walking in here. I'm like, he is not walking in here. So sure enough, he does. He sits like at the bar, which is right next to the table. We were just finishing up, so I went up to him and I said, hey, I said, listen, I don't want to bother you. I didn't ask for an autograph. I didn't ask for a picture. I just said, hey, I don't want to bother you. I just want to say I think you're the man and kick some ass tomorrow night. And I remember he turned slow because he probably gets approached by a bunch of lunatic wrestling fans, And I had a Tony Stewart shirt on, so he's probably like, oh, this guy's all right. He watches NASCAR. He ain't a huge, like, I'm not wearing all John Cena stuff. Like, oh, my God. But he's like, he looks at me, he's like, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Appreciate that. His hand, I got big hands. This guy's hand swallowed mine. I have never in my life seen a bigger guy in person than John Cena. That dude was not tall. He's only like 6'2". But his back was so wide. That guy was so big in person.
Wow.
It's just out of this world. Like, because I went to Giants training camp for 16 years up here.
Right.
Okay. His vascularity and muscle bigger than any football player I ever saw.
Really? I mean, I would imagine most wrestlers you're gonna get that when you see him.
Huge.
The Rock's probably like that too. Hulk Hogan.
Well, yeah, I never met those guys.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, I would imagine.
But yeah, The Rock is 6'5", so he's even taller than Cena. And the Big Show, I can only imagine because the Big Show made John Cena look like a kid when they used to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I would always remember seeing them wrestle and go, I met John Cena. That dude's the biggest guy I've ever seen in my life, and he looks like a freaking child next to.
He does.
So,
yeah. And
that's how big the Big Show
I've seen Yankee King ask this a couple times. Baseball-related question: do you think the Mets should trade the Yankees' Dominic Smith? I think Dominic Smith is on the trade market. I don't know if he fits with the Yankees.
I'm just wondering why L.A. Yankee King wants a new first baseman so bad. What's wrong with Luke Voigt?
L.A. Yankee King, he always just seems like he wants to trade. When it comes to the Giants, he wants to trade the whole team. I didn't get a chance to respond to his post today, but today he said that we should trade basically every person on the Giants.
Could I beat Ezekiel Elliott in a fight? Probably not. Probably not. He's a lot bigger than me. They're bigger than me. Of course, he wears tube tops, and he's kind of feminine, so maybe I could take him.
Baddog, can you read my last comment, brother Mike Nixon said? There it is. Baddog, I met Kane in 99, and I was terrified because he scared me when I was little. Yeah, I mean, he's a big dude.
That's a big guy. Yeah, that's a big, tall dude. Dr. Isaac Yankem.
I'm trying to think who the biggest wrestler was ever. It's probably the Giant, right?
Him or the Big Show.
Yeah.
The Big Show. Yeah. Just a big... they do all take steroids. They have to. It's part of their job.
I appreciate that, Dire Giants fan. Thank you. Yeah, no, they have to. Exactly. Not all of them. Like probably not like the athletic guys, but the big guys take steroids.
I think even the athletic guys too. I guarantee you Shawn Michaels took them. I guarantee you Bret Hart took them. I guarantee they all took them. The 80s guys... It was the steroid guys and the fat guys. The American Dusty Rhodes was not taking steroids.
Right.
Adorable Adrian Adonis was not taking steroids. Rick Rude was taking steroids. Honky Tonk Man was not taking steroids. Hulk Hogan was taking steroids. Ultimate Warrior was taking steroids. Those guys were taking him, and then your other, Hercules Hernandez was taking steroids. But your Greg the Hammer Valentines probably were not. You don't trust Voigt's defense? I'm not worried about a first baseman's defense. First baseman's there to hit.
Yeah.
You put your worst fielder at first base.
Yeah, I mean, there's rare occurrences where, like Keith Hernandez, for example, I mean...
That's another one.
Yeah, there's rare occurrences where they make a world of difference, but it's very rare. They, usually just don't want them to make an error.
Yep. Cena, there's no doubt in my mind Cena's on the Royals. Giant Gonzalez never even fought, though, Mike Nixon. Giant Gonzalez always just stood outside the ring. I always remember that. I never actually... Or maybe he did fight Undertaker, now I think about it. Could I beat Darren Sproles in a fight? Why? What's with all the fighting? I don't want to fight anybody.
Hogan did mad stories. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know how he lived in Playboy. He must be a vampire.
Because, you can say that about anybody who smokes cigarettes. I mean, some people just...
Yeah, Hogan, a lot of roids. Great Khali. Maybe I remember that's another big guy. He was tall. Well, everyone in the '80s did the coke, Road Dog.
Yeah, that's what you did that coming out of the womb.
I mean, Eddie Guerrero, that's what killed him.
Really? I didn't know that. I knew he died. I didn't know it was
A lot of drugs kill all the wrestlers. This is why they all die in their 40s. Yeah. Everyone of them die. It's from steroids and drugs. That's the life of a wrestler.
It's like a rock star.
I don't know, Dynamite Kid, I don't even know. Actually, he might be dead now, but that guy was like confined to a wheelchair forever. His whole body was done. British Bulldog died at, 39, 44? They all die. So, China, she dead.
China died?
Oh, yeah, she died a while ago. Same thing. Just too many drugs. Rick Rude?
I didn't know.
Died at 42? Rick Rude is always the guy. I mean, I'll never be built like him because, number one, he took crap, and number two, some guys are just genetically enhanced. But when I always envision myself, and I'll never get there because I'm 40, going on 43, and my body's kind of probably petered out where it's going to be anyway. But that's always the guy I envision looking like. That's always the guy that I wanted to be built like when I went to the gym. I'm like, I want that physique. That's the physique I want.
I don't even know. I don't even remember who he is. Rick.
Look, he was a fantastic heel.
Sounds familiar, the name. I'm sure if I saw him, I know.
Rick Rude. He was the man.
Oh, Ravishing Rick Rude. Now I know who it was. Yeah.
Rolling 2-3 kid. Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero's dead, yeah.
A lot of them are.
You want a physique like Saquon, but I think we all do.
Lakers need to tank. I think the tank is done, Goose. I think they got 3 more games left. And Laker Dog Stream finished on a high note with them losing by 34, whatever the hell that game was last. It was so bad.
That might be the most disappointing team in all of sports this year. That Laker team. I mean.
Oh. All right, diehard Giants fan, have a great night. We're probably gonna sign off here. It's after 1 o'clock. I think we should probably call this call this night.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in. We talked some baseball. We tried to get the show off the ground. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. We got to hang out and talk some nonsense after. And I want to thank Baddog for having me on, like I always do, and let you close it out.
Yeah, man. I thank you for coming on the channel. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, we plan on doing the baseball things, pretty often, especially as the season starts going and we have baseball to talk about rather than just the first 7 games. But we wanted to kind of give you our backgrounds and stuff and why we're fans. And, when we do it next time, we'll obviously talk a lot more of what's going on. Then, of course, Wednesday, the Giants show. And hope to see you all guys there. And hope to see you tomorrow for my Yankee stream when hopefully the Yankees can get it done. Y'all have a good night, and we will see you next time. It is Bad Dog. I'm out. I still want Enterainah to do his closing out. But Bad Dog's out of here. Peace!
And the call-in show's about 9. It's about the same time as this show, Mike Nixon, tomorrow.
Give him a sit down.
Sit down, Met and Yankee fans. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. Have a good night.